Hello, good evening, and welcome. This is the amazing plethora of guests. We had a bit of a problem there. If you're new to the Inview is really your view. We have a lot of guests on here to talk about their lives, what they do, their views, their understanding, because and it's a place to give you knowledge and wisdom and understanding. I hope you've all been well out there in these very turbulent times, as one would say. I do feel that we sit in a massively confusing vacuum space where, you read the figures and all sorts. I'm not going to talk about COVID all night, but, it's almost being brushed under the carpet now. Loads and loads of cases out there of what you call seasonal flu, but we're not in seasonal flu time, because we've come out of the autumn, the winter, and everything. So, what is it? Well, it's a control you, the mass out there. I hope if you're having a problem out there with a connection, all sorts, it's because those back on, and all the guests. And talking about guests, let me tell you who's on the show tonight. Absolutely amazing bunch. We have got on us Teresa Sell. Teresa Sell is an old friend of the Inview. She comes from Inview, which is her website and everything. She brings us astrological guidance. She's also not only an intuitive astrologer, she's a tarot card reader, medium, Reiki practitioner, and master natural mindfulness guide. 7:50 tonight. I haven't heard from her, but I'm sure she'll be on. The amazing Tanya Weimer, which Healing Hands. Tanya gives tarot card readings, has an amazing insight in today's world. And then at 8:20 tonight, we have the amazing Melanie Kellaway. Has been on the show many times. Very outspoken. She's a true speaker. She's a spiritual psychic medium, Reiki healer, and qualified neck and back and shoulder masseuse. So she'll be on. And we live in today. And I will, at the end of the show, be telling you some of the guests we got coming up. Because one of the reasons we weren't here is not because I was skiving and not wanting to. It's about sometimes you need to have a break. You need to have a gap. Gemma. Hello, Gemma. Hello. Can't wait for today's show. Thank you, Gemma. That's really kind. Jason says, good evening, cuz broke. Me old cousin's listening. What about that? And Stella Edmondson says hi, and hello to you, Stella, as well. It's good to be back. Good. It's going to go through some changes. The format's pretty much the same at the moment, but I've been working very hard in the diligent days that I've not been here, in looking at actually piecing together something very different for 2021. I think very dynamic and very different to what we're doing here. But obviously, one of the other things is making the show accessible, and it is accessible. It's on YouTube Live. It was before on Facebook Live. We are going to trial this and test it because we've been on YouTube Live. We're going to go back on Facebook Live next week. That will please the Facebook people that tried to shut me down many times. So that would be very interesting. Remember out there, you can share, subscribe, and like every single show. And when you come on YouTube, you can go back and look at all the old shows. And I have missed you all out there. It's been really odd not doing it on a Sunday, to be honest. But sometimes it's good to have a rest. And within that resting space, it is also all manner of different things. But as I said, looking forward to 2021, we're looking at something even bigger and even better. So, I look forward to that. So I've told you who's on the show tonight. Our first guest tonight, Teresa Sell. Really looking forward to speaking to her and spoke to your stars, and an insight into what's going on in the world as well. Because my God, isn't it a bloody mess, to be honest? What a bloody mess we sit in. 1 minute, we wear face masks. Next minute, we don't wear a face mask. And Michael Gove today, well, I can't say what I wanted to say there, but that blatant millionaire liar, right, now says that people don't need to wear masks in shops. And then other people saying you do need to wear masks in shops. And where do we stand? Do you know what I mean? What do people know? We wear masks, we don't wear masks. We got PPE, no, we haven't got PPE. You know, I mean, it doesn't make sense. And they're opening things all the time. And obviously in the case of Leicestershire, because the percentage has gone up over the what we see is Leicester has been shut down, gone into a 2-week lockdown, and that's going to come to lots of other places. Apparently, we sit in a very strange. I'm not going to use that word. Begins with you. We sit in a very strange place, a place that just is non-existent guff and rubbish, basically, that are there, mind screwing your heads. What shall I do? Should I go out? I can't go out. Can I go out? Can I go to the supermarket? Should I wear a mask? Should I not wear a mask? Can I go to the pub? Can I go out for something to eat? You know, I honestly feel people are sick to death of all of it, because it comes from blithering idiots, basically. Anyone that believes anything that comes out of Boris Johnson's mouth is away with the fairies, I can tell you now. Gemma Jane Brooks says, who means it's not the band, even though they're really good, Roger Daltrey and Pete Townsend and the rest of them. And if my screen would come up, I'll tell you what it is. But it is, here we are. It's this coronavirus WHO dashboard, where it says that believe it. Because, as you know, a lot of it's a lie, because a lot of people haven't actually died of coronavirus. They died lots of other things, but they've attached coronavirus to it because they make more money. In death, we're worth more than we're alive over it. I will say that, you know, something I spoke about for ages on this show in the past was Brexit. The government are they're pumping. Where are they getting all this money from? Where is all this money coming from? Throwing it away, they're throwing it around like they've got money trees growing in the back of number 10. They just print more money. Looking at some of the headlines or some of the things that's going on, and obviously one of the things that's important to remember here is that we are spiritual beings. We don't believe things when people lie. And, you know, you can say, well, how do we know that people lie? Because we have intuition, because we have feeling, because we understand. And we know within inside ourselves what's right or what's wrong. And, you know, in the years, the 40 years or whatever I've been working in spirituality, the healing agent and the understanding and the gelling and the connecting to understanding where you are, what you're doing, your purpose and everything else consists of the engine room within inside yourself. And the engine room is your soul. And it's your consciousness, and it's your emotions, and everything that connects. And it should be your spark plugs to your body. Unfortunately, we get bashed in this reality by many people in all sorts of different ways, which is wrong. And, you know, a lot don't make it, but some do. And those that do battle through the fear, worry, anxiety, and everything else, which, you know, you can almost relate to COVID itself, because I do feel it's in the millions, absolute millions of people that are going to be suffering through mental problems after COVID. Because now there are people that won't go out. Now there are people that stay home. And, you know, we can kickstart the economy. How can you do that if people won't leave their houses? Well, let's give them vouchers so they can spend. So you can go and buy food on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, half price in places. The thing is, they've already put that fear within people. They've already got in their heads. They've already screwed up their heads. Gemma says, Rishi Sunak says, difficult times ahead. That sounds sinister. How does he know? I'll tell you how he knows. Because obviously, all this money that's just sloshing about, loads of money. We're talking loads and loads of money sloshing about. It's got to come back. And, you know, we're going to see massive unemployment, massive problems with mental health. Healers, seers, people that work in a different way, people that work with the truth within inside themselves, are going to be really needed people coming up in, by the end of this year, next year, and the year after. They're going to be needy because people will need to know the truth. We've gone through this for a cataclysmic change within inside ourselves. We've also gone through this as a cataclysmic change in relation to the connection to nature and the planet we are on, and who we are, and what we are, and why we're here. And it has been, we've seen massive things that lots of people have done. It's been fantastic. It's very bringing together people, but they've isolated us in prison blocks, in houses, boxes that we live in. So we will see the repercussions of this. Don't forget, tonight in 5 minutes time, we have got Teresa Sell coming up. Really look forward to speaking to her about our stars for July, and as well as what's going on in the world. Rishi Sunak, he knows much more than he lets on, as they all do in government, because they all lie and none of them tell the truth. Big news in the week, well, has been since I haven't been here. Miss Maxwell has a stash of sex tapes to use in a deal with prosecutors, it claimed. Look, Epstein killed himself because he knew what was coming. The dark days are over. End times are here. These people are going to be found out. And Miss Maxwell has been living in America in a massive mansion for a year. Nobody knew where she was until the FBI found her, which probably knew where she was anyway, and smashed her door down and took her off and put her in a cell. There is a lot of people. There's a lot of people that are famous, royal, MPs, that are worried. Very, very worried at the moment in relation to what that woman says. And, it's got to come out. It's the same, all these people are tarred with the same brush. Epstein, Weinstein, Jimmy Savile. All these people have taken innocent lives, innocent souls, and used them for personal gain in black, dark arts. It's not right. And as for Prince Andrew, who categorically states that he's never, ever, ever met, wish I could find a picture, this woman. Never met this woman. I've never met that woman that claiming so much, was on television and he was saying everything he was saying. Never met this woman. There's a picture. There you are. Never met her. Don't know who she is. I was in Burger King buying some burgers or Pizza Hut or something. And who's standing there? Miss Maxwell. Now, if people don't realise out there who Miss Maxwell is, she is the daughter of Robert Maxwell. A lovely, kind gentleman, isn't he? He's a very big chap. Massive Mongol. He was a Mongol. No, he wasn't. Maybe he was. He was a media giant. That's what I was trying to say. And what happened to him? Well, he fell off his yacht and died, apparently. Did he? I don't know. But when he died, he stole all of the Mirror Group Empire's employees' retirement funds. All gone. Never found. Never got back. Because he died. Or did he? Gemma says, I wonder if she will be Epsteined to shut her up. Yes, I wonder. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting time, what's coming up. As for Prince Andrew, well, I'm sorry, but, all those in power are lying. They've been doing it for years. The royal family have been doing things that you shouldn't do for years. They murdered Princess Diana. I don't care what anyone thinks. They did. They do anything. They go to any lengths. U.S. prosecutors investigating Jeffrey Epstein was fired because he refused to drop demands to question Prince Andrew. So he's fired. Attorney General Jeffrey Berman had accused the Duke of repeatedly refusing requests for interviews as part of the probe into paedophilic Epstein. What else have we got here? Cash and Harry. Couple set to make millions out of speaking in the US. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will clean up on the lucrative US speaking circuit experts predicted last night. The couple would join the same world-leading agency as their pal Serena Williams and the Obamas to help fund their luxury lifestyle. The top speech earners, you know, before presidency, Donald Trump got £1.2 million to do a speech. £1.2 million. And Mike Cosgrove says, and the Clintons will be found out, yes, they will. Yes, they will. They're running scared, I can tell you. Because I read already tonight, hot off the press, that there's at least two very senior politicians that have come out. Not themselves come out, but come out in what they found out. But ex-US President Bill Clinton, when he comes in and does a speech, maybe you like him to come and do your after dinner speech or whatever. Well, he costs you £600,000, all right, Bill Clinton. And he might have a van full of blood outside as well, because they're feeders. Tony Blair, he's quite a snip, actually. If you want him at your gathering to give you a nice speech, his words of wisdom, he'll only cost you 250 grand. What? What world are we living in? What are we living in? We're going to pay Tony Blair £250,000 to come and speak at our conference, our seminar. The cheapest one on this list, right? You would not believe this, is Richard Branson. Because if he come and gave you a speech, he'd only charge £80,000. A snip, isn't it? An absolute snip. 80 grand. You can have him at your wedding or after dinner speech or whatever. 80 grand. Do you know what? They will make me sick. They're disgusting, vile, horrible creatures. What's this? This is Bat Crack and Rucksack. I've just spotted a rude pecker. Birdwatchers at Nature Reserve are bitten a flat because they kept being disturbed by a naked rambler. Shocked twitchers have been spotting a man in the buff through their binoculars. Well, if he's standing right next to them, they wouldn't need binoculars, would they? Rather than the hoped for woodpeckers or crossbills and tree pips. The man wearing just trainers and a baseball cap and a backpack has been wandering along paths in a bird sanctuary during the heat wave. Police said the Royal Society for Protection of Birds are looking into the reports. Pete McKern, 55, was with his wife Karen when he confronted the walker in Budby South Forest. An RSPB reserve in Sherwood Forest Knott said the stranger was aged 50 to 60 and clean-shaven with short grey hair. Peter told the Sun, I challenged him on his behaviour and he ignored me and went on walking his way. He walked straight past us and he looked away embarrassed, but he just strolled by totally brazen. He was completely naked. Oh my God, completely naked. Peter, who took a snap of the rambles on Wednesday, said, I know getting back to nature is a good thing, but without your cacks on. I'm often rewarded by spotting crossbills, woodlarks in the nature reserve, which is great. But that's twice now on my last two visits that I had to deal with the sight of a nude gentleman walking through the heathland and scrub, wearing now but his trainers and backpack. What do you think of that? There is a man that's actually walking around this country even now naked, I think. Maybe I should do this show naked. Do you know what I mean? Why not? Who's to say you can't? Gemma Jane Britt said, I hope you have plenty of sun cream on. Yeah, so do I. So do I. We should have our first guest on. I don't know where she is. We will we will try and get hold of her and see where she is. Teresa Searle, who we're going to give her a call now. See if she's answering a call. It's on at 7:20 tonight.
Hi.
Hello, Teresa. How are you?
I'm good. You?
I'm very good. Sorry, did I send you the right time? Probably not, knowing me.
7:20. So yeah, I just rang, but it just went to answer phone.
Did it?
But I did it through your phone.
Oh, that's weird. Didn't even ring because I've got that ringtone, which
really?
is brilliant. Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, you're here now, and I think
here.
this is the first time we've ever had you on as a first guest.
Oh yes, I normally do it a bit later, don't I?
Yeah. How have you been, Teresa? How's things been going?
Yeah, not too bad. It's been a funny old month. I've had quite a few flare-ups. Just needed to take some time out and rest.
Yeah.
But it's been intense. There's been so many eclipses and all sorts, isn't there? So it just feels important to just rest. But yeah, no, it's I feel energy shifting again, and it's positive at the moment. So yeah, I'm all good.
Yeah. And people don't realise, I say this every time, people don't realise actually what happens in the sky affects what happens to us here, doesn't it? Particularly when we have moon energy, which affects all our water, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, and it's been intense. Like the last 2 months has been very intense. But we're getting a bit of a breather now because the eclipses are out the way for a while, and Mercury's gone forward today. Venus has been direct.
Well, that's really today it's happened. Mercury's gone forward. Wow, that's brilliant. We should have a party, I think, about that.
But I think we've kind of got used to this kind of energy, this Mercury retrograde energy with the coronavirus lockdown, because that's what Mercury is, about, the days and things like that. But it's seemed very focused on. It's always focused on the energy of the element it's in. So it was in water energy. So it was very much about, emotions, tears, pent up anger, maybe, finding an outlet to express your emotion. And the number of people that have said, I've had to buy a new washing machine. My son turned on the tap and the water went everywhere. It's all about that energy. And funny enough, we've got a water feature that stopped working about 4 months ago.
Really?
And suddenly this week it started to work again.
Really? Wow.
So it just made me kind of laugh because I just thought about the Mercury retrograde and the water energy that it's like it's something's unblocked. That's what I always it's unblocking all of the emotions that we need to
and it's particularly shift. Mercury in retrograde is particularly bad for communication as well, isn't it? Really bad.
It's miscommunication, delays. People are rude as well.
And a lot of aggression. It causes a lot of aggression within society, within people, I think, as well. Causes a lot of confusion.
Oh, yeah. And I think, in a water sign, it kind of, people don't, it's even worse, Water signs tend to keep their emotions to themselves and sulk about it rather than actually saying it. And I think that's been a bit of a, people felt like they needed to retreat quite a lot, I think, over the last 3 weeks rather than...
we did, because we didn't have a show for quite a few weeks. We weren't even here for a few weeks, so we retreated.
Yeah. Oh, and I think it was, important. That, that's what, the energy is. But at the moment, I mean, a lot of people might be suffering with inflammation in their bodies. It's really important to look out for that this week because you've got Mars in Aries, which is its own sign. So Mars is really happy here, and he likes to push forward and get what he wants. And it's a good energy, but it can be a bit rash, a bit impulsive. And then you've got Chiron that's gone retrograde, and they're at the same degree. So what happens is it can flare up inflammation in your body. So if you have got types of joint pain or muscle fatigue or anything like that, it's just to be aware that your knee might be aching, your shoulder might be hurting. I've just found that the last few weeks I've had quite a lot of kind of flare-ups, and it's all to do with this strong energy that's around us. It's something to be aware of. Sure, this week.
And obviously, because I think, as you said in the beginning, the fact that the sky has been so busy with so much going on, and I suppose does reflect in a way what's been happening on our planet.
Oh yeah, totally. And it is that cycle. It's gone around in a cycle. Where planets were before, there was always big things that happened. So like, the 9/11, the wars, oppression, it's all, it all, you can relate it back to where planets were before. So, definitely this year's was always going to be fireworks involved.
Yeah, there's a lot of confusion as well, which probably is about the energy, and we've now changed the fact that it was in retrograde. But I mean, it's also the imbecilic people that's in power as well, because as I started off tonight talking about that you can wear masks, not wear masks, do this, not do this, don't do this, do that, it's bloody ridiculous, isn't it?
And it kind of feels a bit late now to be telling us to wear a mask. Like 3 months ago, people might have been, okay. But, 4 months down the line, are people really going to, take much notice or, believe it in that? It's just, it is because
it is, Matt, but it's people that are in power that are completely inept of understanding what people need. It's ridiculous.
Well,
we're run by idiots all across the world, really, in lots of ways. I mean, tonight Trump's actually wearing a mask. I see on.
Yeah, I don't quite understand that. Because he's one that all kind of just like fights against it, isn't he? So
there's still, people don't realise there's still something like 130,000 people have got it out there, apparently.
Yeah, it's a massive amount of people, isn't it?
Yeah.
The thing is, it's not going to go away, is it? So it's managing it better, and I don't think they know how to. So
it makes you wonder where it come from originally.
Yeah, well, there's lots of theories, isn't there? With then they were talking about another virus they think coming out, weren't they?
Yeah.
So it's just like,
and they were talking in Kurdistan that there's a new plague, a bubonic plague. You gotta laugh. Realistically, you gotta laugh. Can I just say this? That Gemma Jane Brooks, who listens diligently to this show when we're on, says, I can't wait to hear our stars. One of my favourite features of your show. This lovely guest. That's really lovely. Thank you very much, Gemma. And she says, sorry. I keep butting in. Do apologise.
Oh no, that's all right. No, you carry on.
She also says they will tell everyone to wear masks, then put the price of them up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they are quite expensive, aren't they? And it does actually say on the disposable boxes, this will not help you with coronavirus. So,
it's mad. It's all madness, because half of the medical people say, we should wear them. Half of them say we don't. Half of them say it's bad that what we're in, and half of them don't. I mean, I want to get away from coronavirus anyway, because, I mean, to be honest, I'm bored to tears with it, which I think most people are, aren't they?
And I think as well, if you stay away from the media, life seems like it's some kind of normal. So it's better to stay away from
fear
the media,
porn.
newspapers.
Get away from the fear porn.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the stars must predict things like, what's coming up in relation to, I mean, there's a lot of questions to ask here, but in relation to what's coming up, in relation to maybe a second spike, I'm going to throw a few things at you here, maybe a second spike or whatever, which a lot of people are talking about, and they're spiritually, I get that there could be something like that happen, but maybe on a bigger scale. And also, it must be in the stars in relation to, like, what I was talking about just now, Mr. Epstein that died, and this Gazella Epstein, I was going to call her Epstein, she's not. She's Maxwell. In relation to all of this hitting the fan, basically, in relation to, and Prince Andrew and all the other things that's been going on in the paedophilic industry. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously what what that relates to is the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that we've been having for quite a while. And we're moving through it now, and it's all about crashing boundaries. It's like, just, I always say to people, look about at the tower in the tarot. It's like that. It's that kind of moment. It's, you know, the governments are crashing. Everything's changing. Everything's being pulled down. You know, is the monarchy going to be the same? No. You know, they're talking about this. I don't know if you've heard about Jassara and Zara, you know, that the economy needed to crash. I mean, and the planets at the moment, it is all about the economy crashing. But it's going to bring in fresh energy that's going to be better. But we've got to get through all of this smoke and mirrors as well. That's a big thing with the planet. A lot of smoke and mirrors.
Oh, yeah, completely. So, well, it's interesting. Gemma Jane Brooks also says, we also have this mysterious, I've seen this reported, mysterious comet appear that they don't know what was coming. There's apparently a comet in the sky.
There's so much going on, isn't there, with space and the development, and you know, Elon Musk. I mean, what's he up to? I just think he's going to be someone to watch out for.
And how much are they all in contact with extraterrestrials from other worlds? That's my answer. My question.
Well, they probably have for years.
Yeah.
You know, it's just kept hidden from us. Like, you know, free energy is meant to be accessible.
Absolutely.
You know, Tesla's work, it's meant to be, but they kept it all hidden, and they're saying that all of this is going to come back for us, even though we feel like the world is tumbling and you know, everything's changing. It is a bit like Donald Trump is saying, it's draining the swamp to be able to move forward.
Yeah.
You know, into a new era, but it's going to take some time. You know, this isn't going to be easy. It's going to take to about 24, 25 until everything settles down. You know, the planets aren't saying everything's going to be hunky-dory like next year. It's like it's going to take some time for everything to settle again.
Yeah, well, at least it's going to take at least 2 years for things to come into something, but it will never be the same. It will be very different, and it's a general change factor going on in relation to how we live, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's going to be, you know, there's going to be a lot of shocks for people as well with, you know, the arrest, because, you know, stuff's going to come out, and if people haven't been looking into it already, it's going to be a bit of a shock to some people, but it just shows how much we've been lied to over the last about 1,000 years, really.
At least,
all because of, you know, the media and politics and everything else. But everything's crumbling, and it's got to crumble to start again, to start afresh. So there is light, but it's not going to be easy.
No, looking ahead to you know, a second spike of something coming around the corner. Have you seen anything within what?
I mean, before I even really, you know, really studied the astrology side of it, I was always like, well, there's something about October that worries me. October. If there is going to be anything, it'll be around about October, November time, just because with planetary wise, Mars is retrograde. We've got some big oppositions which bring shocks and unexpected change. And it kind of like, there's big warnings. It's almost like everything's going to get back to some kind of normal, but people might get too optimistic, but it may not even be the coronavirus. It could be something else. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think it's going to be
a solar flare. It could be a solar flare.
Yeah.
Or it could be that we don't have any access to supermarkets.
Yeah.
You know, so we have to make sure. So it's really important, I think, that
buy your loo roll now.
Like just be aware, just be prepared. You know, I mean, it might go by, and you know, it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, surely it also predicts that the consciousness on the planet to a degree, because I do feel you're not really going to see it until probably later this year. That might be October, November time. Because it's going to bite hard with Christmas. It's the people that have no jobs anymore, the people that are out there with nothing, that are struggling, going to food banks, the people that are socially and mentally disabled by what they've been through.
And, you know, just talking to friends, you know, some children aren't coping very well with it. And it's the effect on them, you know, the long-term effect. And, yeah, it's going to be a bit of a knock-on effect. And like you say, you know, there have been 3 million people excluded from the grant, the self-employed grant.
I know.
And they just seem to be sweeping it all under the carpet and then handing out vouchers, forgetting that, you know, there are some people that have, you know, they earn 50 grand a year, but because they're over 50 grand, they're getting nothing.
Yeah.
And they're having to cope, you know, and they've never been in that position in their life. They're having to go to food banks and, you know, and they've never had to experience that.
Their answer to that is saying, well, there may be a few cracks that things drop down. 3 million is a lot of people to fall down a crack, isn't it?
Well, exactly. Well, yeah. Absolutely.
But a lot of them ain't never going to work again, and you know.
No, I mean, yeah, some people have had to give up their businesses. It's really, really times going forward. You know, we are heading in that kind of, you know, direction that we need to be more community based and look after each other a bit more.
Yeah, and the problem is that as soon as you say that, division sits everywhere, doesn't it?
Well, yeah.
You know, we're in a very strange time where, you know, well, you're not as old as me, but I'm quite young old. When I lived in my village, lass, way back, I used to know everyone that lived there, and it was a community spirit. And as you got older, all these people unfortunately died, or they moved away, or whatever, and nobody really knew you're there. So nobody wanted to talk to anyone or anything. I mean, Matthew John talks about it a lot of times, and I agree that the community spirit is the real spirit of actually making something happen with groups that can then all gather and be what they are. But you know, if you look at a place like Glastonbury, which I know you've been as well as myself, that is professed to be a community place. Now, this is a high-end spiritual place that there is no community spirit in Glastonbury. And if you can't get it in that...
the vibes I get there aren't really...
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a place that you go in and then drive away.
Yeah, I mean, the places are spiritual, aren't they? Because of the ley lines, but it's almost like it's repelling people in some kind of way. It's strange. Strange energy there.
Very odd. Very odd.
Yeah, but definitely, people just don't know their neighbours anymore, do they?
No, they don't, and above all, they don't care. No one cares. No one cares about anyone. That's, you know, which is wrong. We live in a society that breeds non-caring people. And, you know, when these babies and young children grow up, I'm talking about 3 and 4 year olds, in 15 years' time, they won't even know what hugs are anymore because they won't exist.
Well, that's, you know, I was saying that, you know, we almost need fans to say what we're happy with and what we're not, because what I've found since we've been allowed to meet up is that you have some people that want to hug you and they're really happy with it, but there's other people
that do not want it.
No, don't, you know, have a distance. And then everyone's got different limits, haven't they?
Absolutely.
And it's almost like that, not knowing how to treat other people. So it's almost like we need a traffic light band, you know, red for don't come too close, green, you're allowed to hug me. Do you know what I mean? Because it's almost like people are just going to be confused and not know what to do, so then they won't reach out.
There's a headline just flashed up on my screen here. Spain tightens lockdown in city after COVID spike. 140,000 residents ordered to stay indoors.
But this is the worrying thing, isn't it? That they're going to do all of these local.
Well, that's what they're doing. They've done it in Leicester, and they're talking about 20 other Bradford and all sorts of different places that are all going to be in lockdown situations. I don't know. I really don't know. You know, we're all losing. We all look at night when it's clear and we look up the sky and think, oh, there's a nice star there. I wonder if that's my planet. Can you come and take me back?
Well, that Funny you say that. What I've been saying, like, if I could go back, and they said, "Would you like to come home now?" I'll be like, "Yes, please."
Yes, please. Yes. Yes, definitely. I want to go home. Unfortunately,
I'm ready now. Yeah, I've done my job. Thank you. Yeah, let's go back now.
In the queue we sat in, coming here, we knew that this was coming. It is something that we knew about. But, many of us here on Earth are thinking, why are we back here? Why? And why are we going through treacle and tar and garbage? Do you know what I mean?
I know. And this is the major part while we're here as well, these times. So,
and they say, well, it's all about karma. Yeah. It's not actually about karma, a lot of it. It's about critical expeditionary light workers, which is what I would call it. People like you, me, and many of the people listening out there doing immense work to help people understand themselves. As I said earlier on, to understand what you need. I mean, yes, they come to people like me and you and they have readings and things, but the critical part of it is the switch on. It's about putting the spark plugs back in the engine of you.
Oh, yeah, and totally. And that's where I feel like, where things are, it's about everything's inside of us. And we look too much outside to make.
You do. And people know you look.
Actually, it's all inside. And so we've got to learn how to live in this material world without being material, so to speak. And just trusting our own sat-nav, because everything's inside of us. And they talk about quantum physics. It's inside of us.
It is.
So, we can use that energy, but it's been dulled down. Particularly our crown, as in politics and that. The crown is what's being shut down by them because they're telling us stories. So our crown chakra is switched off. So we find it hard to go further than our kind of like third eye to expand.
The crown is also a fire. It also is what gives us desire, passion, creativity, abundance, all manner of different things.
Yeah, and that's what's being shut off.
I know. I think Boris is shut off a long time ago.
I don't know what's happening to Boris. But,
I don't know. I weren't Boris bashed tonight, honestly. Anyway, so the stars for the month. Rest of the month.
Everybody. So for Aries, this month, maybe working really hard to get your house in order, and be aware if you have any building plans or wanting to move, that whilst Mercury is retrograde, it may have put a spanner in the works, but things should start speeding up at the end of the month. The lunar eclipse last week, remember with eclipses, they linger and the effects can last around 6 months with eclipses. So it's just something to be aware of when I'm doing these readings. So it's in the career zone. So be aware that it could be a time of surprises at work and craving a new start. So it's a time to start thinking about going forward within the next 6 months if you want a new job, to just kind of go for it. By the 20th of this month, at the new moon, you could get some news you've been waiting for in regards to a property or a family member. For Taurians, the outdoors and travelling to new and interesting places will be calling to you, and spend as much possible time in nature as you can and soak up her energy. You need to recharge those batteries. The eclipse last week was in their travel and study zone, so you might have, had that fire to start a new kind of study. You could, funny enough, I'm a Taurus, and it's about travel as well. And me and my husband are going camping next week, and I'm not really a camping person, but I'm quite excited about it.
Yeah, it's very liberating camping.
Yeah, good.
As long as it doesn't rain.
As long as it doesn't rain, I won't be happy then. You can return to an old practice or start a new way of working. You may be letting go of old belief systems. Be open to others' points of view this month, especially on the 20th at the new moon. Someone in your life could become an inspiration, and you're seeing the path ahead a lot clearer. So for Gemini, Be aware that your mind is ever changing at present and may be jumping from one activity to the next. Try to make some time to quiet that active mind. You will, however, be feeling more psychic than usual, and the lunar eclipse last week especially would have been a good time to do a little ceremony honouring ancestors and listening to what they have to tell you. You may be concerned with finances this month and feel the need to get things into order. Try not to push forward too much. The 20th at the new moon will bring in some extra income or may get something back that you loaned. And just to point out for everybody, with Mercury being in retrograde, that something may have been put on hold or you had to give up something, but now something new will come in. So that is for all signs, that be aware that there could be some positive news in the next few weeks where you can move forward with things. The Cancer, this month is an important one where you may find that a new view emerges. You will look at life with new eyes and confidence. The lunar eclipse last week may have stirred things up in relationships. So if there was a big kind of blow up or argument, this would be, it needs clearing, it needs sorting. And it may have been a time for walking away or starting over. Take time to listen to others, as Mercury would have been challenging your beliefs. The new moon on the 20th is the second new moon for Cancer this year. It's a time to shine bright and be bold. If you wish to do something last month and didn't make the step, now is the time to do it. You're being given a second chance. Now, just to know, it's not very often that we have two new moons in the same sign. And normally, what it does, it brings in new energy and kind of like a second chance. So if something you wanted to start next week kind of fell through, next week means the last new moon, so like, about 3 weeks ago, at the next new moon, you'll have that chance to go forward. But just be aware that Saturn is opposite. So it's kind of like, it's not a good time to start something new, but it's a good time to start thinking about it, if that kind of makes sense. Because Saturn makes you feel restricted and cautious, whereas the new moon is wanting you to go forward. So just be aware that, put in those plans and it will work the second time around, but just wait a week or so after the new moon. That's for everybody. For Leo, your mental health and fitness are important to you this month. You may seek some counselling or a health mentor to help to guide you. You are seeing the connection between your mind, body and spirit. Mercury is telling you to slow down this month, and last week you may have started to look at a new fitness regime or may have given up on that thing that you're doing, like bad habit that you have. By the 20th at the new moon, it's time for starting to move forward, letting go of the past, of resentment. It's a good time to practice mindfulness. Virgo, you'll be feeling in a creative mood this month and wanting to have some fun, which will make you feel re-energized. Teamwork will be key at work this month. The lunar eclipse last week, you may have bumped into a stranger or an old flame, which could have brought up all sorts of emotions that you may have buried. And the new moon on the 20th, you may be thinking about joining a new group or starting a new activity. You could also be doing some kind of talk or presentation in a new way, possibly online or connecting with technology. Libra, balance is key this month, especially in the workplace, as things might be a little stressful. It's important to do some deep breathing. The Windhoff method is a very good breathing method to do, so I'll put that as a suggestion, which will help you feel calmer, less anxious and more insightful. The lunar eclipse last week, you probably wanted to be hiding at home and hunkering down with family. The new moon on the 20th puts your career in the spotlight. You could be starting a new job or a new position or rearranging your office space. The Scorpio, you will feel the need to be heard this month and will tell people your truth. Remember that sometimes others only see things from their perspective. So look at different creative ways you can express yourself. The lunar eclipse last week may have brought a conclusion to an old argument or disagreement, and had to be careful when travelling, as rushing too fast may have caused an accident or tripping up, something like that. The new moon on the 20th, you'll be in the mood for travelling somewhere new and different and may take up a new study. Sagittarius.
Great sign, by the way.
Yeah. This month, you'll be reassessing your spiritual goals and values. and may even be looking at things in new ways. The lunar eclipse last week may have brought some issues connected to finances and what it is that you really value. You may decide to move your possessions away to charity, or collected lots of books over the years and realise that they're cluttering up your space. So think about what you no longer need. You may even get some money for them. The new moon on the 20th, you may start a new spiritual practice or have some deep insight. It's the time for forgiving others and releasing old wounds. Capricorn, your relationship month and may feel that you are being put upon but not able to say no. Try to set boundaries and step back when you need to. There may be some unfinished business that you need to deal with. Trust that all will work out well. The lunar eclipse last week may have put you in the spotlight, and you may have decided to make some radical changes that others may not have liked. Stand your ground. The new moon on the 20th brings new chances in relationships. An old relationship may be revived or someone new may enter your life. Aquarius, you are an effective leader and may be missing teaching others. It's a good time to think about new projects. You'll be getting yourself organised this month. Just be aware that Mercury might be wanting you to slow down and look after your health. The lunar eclipse last week, you would have been feeling in hermit mode and would have been a good time to take a break, do some meditating and connect with your inner self. The new moon on the 20th, you may give up an old habit or start a new health and fitness regime. And Pisces, this month you'll be feeling creative and wanting to do something new and different out of your comfort zone. Friendships are highlighted and someone around you may give you a much needed boost, helping you to achieve your goals. The lunar eclipse last week, you may have been feeling rather sociable and would have been a good time to be around friends. The new moon on the 20th is a great time to get creative, doing some painting or crafting, and it's time to go on a date with someone new or spontaneously do something fun with a partner. So, yeah, and it's quite, an interesting second half of the month. If people really like watching the stars, then look out for like Jupiter this week, because it's going to be the brightest in the sky that it is before it starts to get darker again and become the morning star. Wow. So you can see it at the moment on the horizon, and it's really bright. That is brightest on Tuesday. So look out for that this week. And also, it's going to be bringing some opportunities and some optimism. So it's a good week to start thinking about your goals and making the changes that you want going forward. So it's quite a calm week this week compared to others that we've had.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. I think what you bring is absolutely immense. Gemma Jane Brooks, who's been listening, watching, says, I'm a Cancerian. She says this is bang on. So she says absolutely spot on.
Yeah, and obviously cancers are being quite, because we are in the cancer season at the moment. So it's like, this is the year that everything kind of goes on for them. So it's, it's their high point to put themselves out there and make changes. So,
wow. I'll tell you what, you've been absolutely incredible, Teresa. Always. Well, I mean, it's absolutely brilliant having you on here. I think I put you in already for next month at some point, I think, in August.
Yes, you have,
comes every single month, bringing her own unique interpretation of the stars, which and through blissful insight as well, isn't it? And do you want to tell people out there what are you going to be anywhere very soon out there in the public eye or anything?
No. I mean, the next
wouldn't
one
you
is,
like to be? Wouldn't I like to
but...
be? Wouldn't we all like to be?
Yeah, not sure, but I am still doing quite a lot of online work for reading the birth charts, and I am doing year ahead reports now and compatibility reports as well. So if you're interested in that, then take a look at my website, which is www.intuitsoul.co.uk, and I'm on Facebook under fb.com/intuitsoul. I'm going to start doing like mindfulness walks with an intuitive reading going forward.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, so I just think, even though Reiki, it doesn't feel right being PP'd up doing Reiki. So I might be holding on that for a little bit longer, but I am still, doing quite a lot online.
And you do stuff on live Facebook as well, still, do you?
Yes. Yeah. So it's my Facebook page. Still do my.
Brilliant. All right. Well, you've been amazing, Teresa. I'm sorry that it didn't ring my phone. I don't know why, but
well, that's all
right. It's nothing personal.
And blame that we going forward.
Yeah. Well, we're coming out of Mercury retrograde, so it should actually work properly now.
Yeah, but actually, the day that it goes forward or backwards can still cause a bit of chaos.
Right. Well, that might be what it is, because there's been a lot of problem with phones lately, I think. You've been amazing, Teresa, and we look forward to you come back on in about a month's time to tell us what's going on, all sorts, give you a take. It's really fascinating to get a different insight into what potentially is happening by those things that many people many centuries ago believed actually is what makes us tick in a way, and how and what makes things happen on this planet, if you like. And it's a shame they don't have astrologers within cabinet anymore, isn't it, really? Or like governments, because they used to give great advice as well. So
yeah, I'm not sure if whether they still do or not.
They probably do. Maybe. They probably do, but they're all kept in the background, quiet.
Yeah, exactly.
It's probably Dominic Cummings kicked him out, probably. Thank you very much.
You take care.
And we will speak soon. Thanks, Teresa. All right.
Bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye. Bye. Lovely lady there, Teresa Searle. Please check out our website, www.inuitsoul. Absolutely brilliant. And always a great guest. Real good guest she is. I hope you enjoyed that. And it's always good to get her on. We have got coming up next, but I haven't heard from her. So this is where the show, where live shows go down the pan sometimes. We're going to try her, no, she's not available. It doesn't matter. We can still do news of the week and things like that. So it's not a problem at all. Tanya, we will get on again at some point in the not too distant future. She was on our very last show of the last time we were on. I was going to say last year. It wasn't last year, was it? I'm just going to check that this might be who I'm actually waiting for. Hello, who is calling the Inview? Nobody. Let's try that again. Let's call this number back and see who it is. No. Well, they might just call us back. And they have. Let's see if we can get them on now. Hello. Hello, is that Tanya?
Hi. No, it's Melanie. Hi. No, it's Melanie. It's Crossfires.
All right. Okay.
Call me back. I'm a bit early.
All right. Well, actually, you're not. You could come on now if you want. You got a nice bit of feedback going on there.
Yeah, I've cut you off now. Yeah, I've had terrible trouble with my phone, to be honest.
I know. We were just talking about that, Melanie.
I've just heard you.
This is Melanie Kellaway, who is going to be on at 8:20. It's on actually now. And things. This must be the last bastions of retrograde times. Do you know what I mean? Melanie, just to give people out there an idea who Melanie is, been on the show many times, spiritual psychic medium, Reiki healer, qualified neck and back, shoulder masseuse and truth speaker. And she's been on the show many times. She's a great guest, and it's great to have you back on.
Yeah, thank you very much. How are you?
I'm very well. Yes, it's good to be back. It's been strange not doing it, but sometimes you need a break, and sometimes you need to actually, organize the rest of the guests, basically, which is what I've had to do. because we're booked up to the end of September now, so that's good.
Fantastic.
But it all takes time, you know. It all takes time, and it's not bad. Not bad to have a break. You know what I mean?
Good, and I think a lot of us need to step back, Clint. Definitely, I think this is what's happening. Right. I think a lot of us are feeling up and down with everything. We don't know whether we're coming or going at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's all about deepening your wisdom, isn't it? So listen to your intuition and how you are. I think it's. I know, sadly, like you just said, I've been listening to about social gatherings, which is a shame. We're all missing that very much. But I think it's about us standing back, like you just said, and taking time out and listening to us and healing ourselves on many levels. That's what I feel personally.
Yeah, because I do feel, and it's not hugging a tree country or anything. It is very much about that. You know, you like me, you like many people, like Teresa, many people out there have been working very hard, not only in what you do spiritually, but in your job and that as well. And you know, it comes to a point you think, well, you know, I need to take time out to actually, you know, re-engage, align, reconnect or whatever, to take things to another level. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, totally. It's about recharging. And this is a month of higher learning, as you know, probably a few people have said. And July is there's a definite shift in July. I think June was very low. I think now people are starting to feel a bit more awakened, a bit more higher, a bit more positive. I know we've had ups and downs, I think, but like the lady said before, actually, my stars were perfectly spot on.
Yeah. And so what star sign are you?
I'm a Leo.
Yeah, I'm a Sagittarian. Gemma was a Cancerian, so it's absolutely spot on. She was so good. Gemma actually is going to buy a chart from Teresa right now. So
wow, spot on. Even about the fitness, everything is amazing. So well done. Yeah, it was spot on. I was like, wow, that was good. I think a lot of us, like-minded people, like beings, whatever term you want to call it. I think a lot of us are researching and looking deeper into how we feel and actually feeling what's going on. I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of us are very empathic and sensitive, like myself. And I've had blips. We're all human.
Yeah.
And I think it's about standing back and kind of letting the world sort itself out in a way. I think it's literally sorting the wheat from the chaff. I mean, it's under-earthing all the corruption, isn't it? And all the elites and all the negativity.
Absolutely disgusting, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's almost like coming out you can almost feel it.
Yeah.
And I think in a way, I know it sounds negative, but at the moment I'm really trying to, my following, if you like, and the friends and close friends, my spiritual friends and just friends in general, trying to keep them upbeat and positive, because I feel, we have good times ahead. It will all kind of wash away, if you like, it's all coming out.
I think one of the problems is that what we're going through is we're being screwed psychologically.
Oh, totally. It's mind control, isn't it?
Complete mind control going on and completely screwed.
Say nothing, see nothing, hear nothing, do as you're told.
Yeah. And if you ask somebody, a lay person in the street, what they're meant to be doing, they wouldn't have a clue. No. They wouldn't have a clue because the messages are all just mixed up and it's just a mess.
And it's about our emotional intelligence as well, isn't it? It's about how we feel and our higher. It's about us connecting to our higher selves and really deep, looking deep within ourselves and think, well, actually, it's almost like, I don't know about you, but it's almost like looking at the massive bigger picture.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. It's massive, absolutely massive. It's not just about the earth and what we're in.
The future generations, the earth, everything, the cosmics, everything.
Yeah. This time we're in is the beginning stages of a new, completely new dimension of growth for humanity.
Yeah. And but also, sorry, it's funny because a lot of, I don't know about you, but I believe in. Obviously, I do quite a bit of soul searching myself, and I think a lot of the new babies coming into the world now. There's been a massive baby boom again, and I really do believe that they're star seeds or indigo children or rainbow children, crystal, whatever way you want to call them. Yeah. I think they're going to bring a massive enlightenment into the earth, definitely. And it's kind of all part of the plan, and it's almost like you kind of sit back and you're watching it happen.
I just hope one of the things I hope, because something that don't get talked about a lot, which I feel is really important, is the fact that we have the parents of these young children, that can be babies through to like 5, 6, 7-year-olds or whatever, even a bit older into the teens, because they're in fear and because they've been switched on by what's going on around, And plus that is a fear-driven thing within inside them. That's a mechanism brought about by social media, by media itself, and everything else. It's just about hoping that these children can push through this barrier that sits there in our reality, with almost like getting rid of an old dogma, isn't it?
Well, it's heightening our fear, isn't it?
Yes.
It's heightening their fear. I mean, they've been in a loving, compassion, and I heard what you said just now, how much important social, communication is, hugging each other. I mean, they're not even allowed to do that. I mean, to take that away from a child...
We all like a hug, don't we?
Of course we do. I mean, that's a natural instinct. It's a part of human nature, isn't it?
Yeah, and we're tactile. We like to touch as well,
It's humanity, we need that compassion, we need that love, and we need that support. And it's almost the dogma of everything, everything's structured now. You've got to do this, you've got to do that. And sadly, I think a lot of the children that don't come from loving homes won't receive that love at school or any other way. And I think that's very, very sad. But psychologically, they're not dealing with that. They might put out these rules, the idiot government that we're in, but they're not thinking of the well-being and the psychological, effect that is going to be of our future generation and their future generation.
This is about interaction. This is about intimacy. This is about intimacy. It's about how to connect with someone.
Yeah.
It's about how to build a relationship.
Yeah. And then in schools, and they love holding hands, skipping around the playground and hugging their friends.
I still do.
I saw you skip, and and it's true. They need that, and it's really sad. I mean, I work in a care home, and I will be honest. I mean, a lot of the ladies and men that are just suffering so badly because they're not seeing their families.
Yeah,
but we do give them a hug.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do it, and it makes them feel great, and we give them a hug daily.
Do you have many visitors in there, family visitors, but before all this?
It's very sad at the moment, Clint, and we've had lots of birthdays. We had one lady celebrated, she was 99 yesterday.
Wow, 99.
99, incredible. We got one at 102 and one at 101.
Wow.
And they had to do window visits. What is that about? And you're allowed to go to the pub. You're allowed to go to play.
And you're allowed to sit on an aeroplane with 300 people
that you don't even know.
Yes,
they're not in your bubble, so to speak. And we had to do a window visit, and it brought a lot of staff to tears, to be honest.
I bet it did.
It was heart wrenching to watch, and we've got to deal with that. And I think, like I was saying before, the emotional effect that has on the staff as well. We've got to take that home with us. We try not to, but the emotional effect it's having on them is horrendous.
Yeah, but to a degree, you can't help because you're empathic. You can't help taking away. You're not wearing it. You're not living it. But you're thinking that the question is why? I mean, my father, who is now dead, God rest his soul and everything. He was eventually in a home because he had Alzheimer's dementia really bad. It was too bad, and he had to go in. And in that care home. Went to visit him every week, or a couple of times a week. I was the only person that came and visited. And this was well before lockdown. This years ago, and nobody else come visit any of them. Ever.
I mean, I've been in the care home environment for about 10 years now, and I can completely understand that. And I think, like you just said, us being in tune with our emotions and our feelings and our higher self, we just can't work it out.
Yeah, but there's a change. There's something wrong, badly wrong, in relation to the self-centered.
They're arrogant. I mean, you only got step out on the road and it's full of rage and anger. It's horrendous. And I shout to him above, and I'm like, "What is going on? You must have known I was coming out on the road." It's like all the assholes come out. Excuse my language.
That's all right. I've heard far worse.
I have never felt, and I do say felt because I do feel the rage, I do feel the anger, I do feel emotion. As I said, us being all sensitive and everything. And I think it's worse now than it's ever been.
Yeah, but what's happened here on this planet within only a short space of time? In my time, if you go back, I mean, I'm not ancient, but I'm not young, and just in my time in relation to where, you know, there was respect and everything. Now, when they're more likely to put somebody in a home, and then there's somebody else to look after them, not go and visit them, and reap the rewards of what they saved. And it's absolute disgusting. It's disgusting beyond belief.
Yeah. And lack of respect, and like you said, you know, even in my time, I remember, you know, when we were kids and everything, how much life was so much freer.
That was only 20 years ago, or whatever, probably.
Yeah, and I remember that even when my kids were younger.
Yeah.
I mean, we are sadly, I think people are evolving into a very greedy, corrupt, selfish world, and I think maybe sadly this COVID or any virus, I do believe sometimes these happen for a reason, to get rid of the scumbags, to get rid of these people and bring in new enlightened souls.
But if you haven't got the discipline, respect, and this is my problem. The bigger picture, is it's a mess, because out there it's a mess with people, because they're confused, scared, frightened people, because they're not being guided properly. They're out choices and they don't know what they're doing, and because they're in situations where they haven't had to take responsibility, they have to, and I feel that they have no idea what they're doing, and there's nothing or no one here that is helping them. Now, that then moves on to the picture what I was talking about earlier on, which is very much down to the huge tsunami of mental issues and problems.
Huge. I mean, like I said, not only do I work in the care sector, I see people around me are starting to have mental issues because they are not seeing or not even going. They're actually driven with fear. They're actually paralyzed with fear.
Yeah.
They're frightened to go out. I mean, luckily for you and I, hopefully people watching, we have a higher knowing, if you like, of what's actually going on.
Yeah.
But you can't stand in a queue in Tesco's and blab all that out because they think you're nuts.
Well, yeah, and you know, if you're in Russia, you'd probably be locked up.
Exactly. So sadly, it is say nothing and keep ourselves to ourselves. But luckily, we have platforms like yourself that you've created that we can air these views. And I think a lot of people on these platforms do need to speak out. You know, people are starting to open out, and people are starting to see that this is all corrupt.
Look,
lies.
If people believe it or not, it doesn't matter. The fact is, I would not be doing this and this show. I have no ego or nothing. This show's not about me. It's about all you lot. And I come on here and create a space because I want people to know the truth about things. Because they're lied to on a scale you would not, well, you know, but they're lied to on a scale you would not believe. And when you start talking to people about that, they say, no, that's not happening. No. You know, and the broad, swifting statements like saying, I knew when this came out, as you did as well. It's a load of bollocks, basically. It's an absolute load of rubbish. I actually did a reading not long ago for somebody who's quite high up. I didn't realise that at the time in America, who was in the pharmaceutical industry and a doctor.
Wow.
And this person said to me, do you realise that coronavirus is completely fake?
And what was your reaction?
I said, I told her. I said, I know.
Fair shout.
But I knew that right from the beginning. Now, a lot of people out there would be up in arms saying you can't say things like that because there's all these people died.
But why
526,000 people have died this year so far with coronavirus. On average.
But
every year. Apparently, yeah. But every year, 250,000 to 650,000 people die of seasonal flu in the world.
And other elements as well. I mean, you look at. Look at the suicides at the moment. Look at the mental health that's going on at the moment. That's massive. Read it, but they don't show that. They don't show the families that are suffering violence and abuse in the homes because they've got no jobs or no money, or they're abusing their kids or their dog or whatever. You don't see that. They actually put on, pretend families, politically correct families on the TV to pretend everything's all hunky-dory.
Absolutely.
In fact, it's not.
Look, we're very lucky.
I hate it. We're
very lucky where we live, okay? In relation to not in a Coronation Street scenario. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, God.
These,
God, heaven forbid.
Yeah, these places that like for people So therefore, what you try to do is you try to find ways of crossing bridges and boundaries with these people. They're obviously all going to struggle, and you've got a herd mentality there, which is aggressive, non-understanding, and very self-centered. What you need to do, on these places that are massive, you need all these billions of pounds they're putting. You need to get down to the grassroots. A building there, and you need to put people in it, and you need to have your doors open for people to come in to be able to sit down and communicate. That's what it's about.
But they're taking that away, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're
of course they are. It's been going on for years.
Yeah. I mean, even now, obviously, the cashless society. I mean, I don't know about you, but I knew this was coming years ago, and I've always said it will be a cashless society. They want complete control and tax everything we earn, everything we do is complete control, and it's mind games all the time. That's what I hate about it.
This is an extraterrestrial agenda of dark entity beings that sit behind the government, that sit behind a very, very small percentage of people that control this planet. You talk about suicide. So far this year, from the World Media, it says we have had this year so far 569,324 suicides across the world.
That's horrendous.
Who's talking about it? Nobody. Who's talking about the people that go missing every day? The 800,000 people that go missing in America alone in a year.
Abducted, the children being trafficked. I mean, all this is being under earth, isn't it? It's almost like everything's being dug up. Everything is the pedophiles now, it's the elites, everything's coming out in the open. Yep. All this is coming out. Thank God, really.
Absolutely.
You know, and we need to see what's really reality and what's not. Everyone's living in a 3D or 4D dimension, if you like, and they're not seeing the reality of it. But you and I and the people that are listening and other people that are like-minded like us, we see almost like ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
That's how I see things.
Because you see it and you feel it and you know it's right.
Yeah. I mean, this Madeleine McCann, I mean, how many times, they're dragging this up again, and I've always said from the beginning, and they're now searching the wells, and I've always said, search the wells.
Yeah.
And they're starting to do it, and I think it was a bit late now, isn't it?
It is a bit late.
It's really sad. It's really, really sad.
I actually feel she's still alive.
Do you?
Yeah.
Interesting. Everyone got different views on that, haven't they?
But you see, what you've asked there, the question, Madeleine McCann, why did they choose her? And who are the people that are really looking after her? Who are her parents? Because
I know.
I'm not allegedly. I'm only allegedly saying this. I'm not saying it's the truth. But many people point a finger at those people.
Oh, many, and even still today, they're saying they're guilty. They're guilty. It's very sad. But we I mean, this year is just crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, but it's been going on for years and years and years, Melanie.
Yeah.
I read a book recently called The Missing 411, and these are all the big landscapes, the big parks in America, where from years and years and years, there's something like in the region 100,000 people over the last 100 years have gone missing in parks, never been found. If they have been found, they're missing shoes. They've got scratch marks on them, and they might be alive or they might be dead. Nobody talks about any of that.
No, they don't. Because they're not interested in that. They're worried about controlling our money.
They're worried about what's going on in EastEnders. That's what they're worried about.
Exactly. Vaccinations. This is what it's about: controlling the population, controlling our minds, how we think, how we live. Look how much food's gone up now. And I was only saying the other day about all this PPE. We'll be paying for that, and they're on about that already. They're on about charging us now for the tests, for God's sake, out of our taxes.
Yeah.
And I think, what more can they do?
I'll tell you what, the bow wave of getting money back from people is going to be astronomically large.
We're going to hit the biggest recession ever. We really are. I mean, it's terrifying now.
Do you know what's interesting? When you go through all this, what you find actually, because I read a lot as well. It took me a long time to learn to read. I do read a lot.
Likewise.
And you know what fascinates me is people say, "Oh, it's a lot different years ago," and all sorts of that. Now, I read a book recently. It only cost me £3. Actually, it was a bargain. It's called "A Time to Dance, A Time to Die." It's the extraordinary story of the dancing plague of 1518 in Strasbourg. That's where one day a woman just came out of a door and started dancing, could not stop moving, dancing. And before you know it, there's 500, 600, 700 people. And bear in mind, 1518 is a time where they didn't have toilets, and it was, you know, sewage was all going over the floors, and terrible, terrible, terrible time. But what fascinates me about reading this book is what they say at the time, because what you've got there in churches, they're saying in there that the churches were quite often, you found little boys or young people murdered because they've been raped or whatever. This is 1518 in Strasbourg, right? And that the people that were in power, the whoever they were at the time, the Roman Catholics or whatever, actually were actually being seen in, this is the monks, were being seen in inns wearing gold and drinking and fornicating and all sorts. You know, realistically, nothing changed. The nuns were appearing in alehouses, drinking, debauchery, all manner of different things, wearing the fine hats and all manner of different. These are nuns. This is 1518 in Strasbourg.
Well, they just uncovered now. I don't know what part of the world it was. It's funny you should say about that. We were talking about that today, actually, with somebody, and they were saying that about the monks and the nuns, how they had sexual relationships even though they were Catholic.
Yeah.
And they actually found hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of babies' bodies underneath the place where the monastery or whatever, nunnery, whatever you want to call it, of all these nuns have had these babies underneath their whatever they're wearing, and just left the babies to die.
Yeah.
So how corrupt is that? And we know it's. I mean, look at Jimmy Savile, for God's sake.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just how he played on those innocent children. It makes me feel sick.
No, they weren't even alive at times, were they? It's even more sick.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's mad.
But you know,
like you said, it's been going on for years, and this is all undercover now. Everything's being dragged out, and you know, everything's being brought up to the surface.
Doesn't this come under of something that, you know, as animals, as we are, as well as soul beings within inside, the animalistic nature of what we are, there is, you know, the body needs lots of things, but it needs to be educated properly to have those things. Do you know what I mean? So sex and any form of anything like that needs to be taught in a way that actually understands what you've got before you give it to somebody or abuse it. Do you know what I mean? You've got to start at grassroots. You've got to start at the root of the problem.
But will we ever get there, though? I mean, the way things are going now, it's just got completely out of hand. And like you said, people just don't know where they stand at the moment. You know, it's all hearsay. They're listening to half the story. I don't even read the news. I don't look at the news. I don't read the paper.
I look at it as a comic. It's rubbish.
I know, but I am sick of seeing his face on the telly. I just don't want to hear it. And immediately, I can feel so much negativity coming off that and bullshit lies.
Yeah, absolutely. Boris bullshit.
Literally, Boris bullshit. You know, and I
build, he said. Yeah. Build everything. Get back out there, work and go to the pubs, and you know what insane, complete, contemptual head case called Boris Bonkers Boris. On the day they open pubs, they open at 6 a.m. Hang on a minute. Let's make sure you all become alcoholics as well.
12.
6 a.m. in the morning they opened.
Yeah, but yet you're not allowed to see your family. Do you know, this is what really appalls me.
It's disgusting.
Lack of compassion and care and respect. There's just no words for it. You're telling me that they're not seeing their families. You're not telling me that he's not seeing his family. Look at what's been in the papers lately.
Well, yes, Mr. Stanley, who appears on Google, Celebrity Google, he's not a celebrity. He's just a father of a prime minister. That's an idiot. And he went off to Greece, didn't he? He went to Gibraltar or somewhere. Then he went to Greece to obviously, unlike many of us, because we only live in one place, but he happens to have another house and another house as well. And the other house he had in Greece, he went over to Greece to make sure it's COVID appliant for when people went and stayed there. And he wasn't meant to go anywhere.
No. And like I said, you've got millions of
Dominic Cummings. I only mentioned one word. Dominic Cummings.
Millions of
wants horse whipping down that. He's an awful, horrible man that controls the government, controls all of us right now. I don't control me or you, but he does the mass.
Puppets on a string.
He reminds me. He reminds me of one of the members. I can't remember the name. One of the members of the Nazi Party back in the 1930s. Bormann. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I just think, I don't know. I mean, like you said, this is crazy times, but I mean, we've got to.
But the problem is, there's no sense here, is there? This is what I haven't done this show for a few weeks. Yes, I do watch a bit of the news for a bit. It's like watching a Beano, just to see what rubbish they're putting out there. But at the same time, you get such conflicting messages, and all of a sudden, COVID's dropped right off the radar. And, it becomes Madeleine McCann, or it becomes, the things that weren't out there suddenly start reappearing in the newspapers because, people are not buying. It's about what they buy, what they put in there is what people buy. And obviously COVID has been a main story. It sold millions of newspapers or watched millions of programs, but people are sick to death of it. You cannot lock people up in homes and think it's healthy, because it isn't. It's completely unhealthy. You're more safer outside than locked in a box. All right. And even today I read that the fact that they're now saying that this virus in your home could be airborne. I mean, how mad can it be? What are you going to do, not breathe? Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's what they want you to do, isn't it? Literally.
They do. Unfortunately, they do.
There you go. They'll even charge you for that now. There'll be a meter on the side of your house, like how many breaths you take a day.
Agenda 21, depopulation.
Yeah,
I agree.
And you think people, but sadly, that what I always call the muggles of the world, they live their life by that. They're constantly going around disinfecting their houses. I mean, I don't know about you, if you notice how much the disinfectant's gone down, the bleach and everything, because people are buying it in hordes.
Yeah, they
cleaning
are.
their house 24/7.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell? We'll have no immune system at all in a minute, and then we'll all get ill anyway.
Yeah, because look,
that's how you build your immune system.
we used to live right outside, not in houses. We used to live in caves, and we used to eat raw meat or slightly raw meat. We used to go and pick stuff. We're living in this completely nanny state arena, which wraps us up in disinfectant and everything else, which is doing more harm, as you say, to you than actually not taking it.
I refuse to wear a mask.
I refuse to wear a mask as well.
I will not wear one outside. And do you know, when I walk through the village or the shop, I actually got a big smile on my face, and I think, well, you're morons.
You are complete and utter. All I'm looking at is, are we turning to China? That's what I look at.
Well, it's funny because that's only what I said the other day. That's what going to be like. We are going to be lit. And if they're importing all these people over from Hong Kong, it will be like China. Yeah,
it will. Yeah, and they're probably born infected with something as well.
Yeah. And it's almost like we got. I feel like I stand out from the crowd, but not as in ego. But I'm doing it because of strength and power and inner knowledge.
But you're doing it with self-belief.
Yes,
you're doing it with self-belief. I don't wear a mask.
No,
I don't wear a mask. I hug people. Because I like hugging people.
And I go into work, and the first thing I do is hug them. And, they cry because they haven't received a hug. And to me, that's priceless.
We cannot take love away from people.
No.
Because what you're going to cause is what's happening in Serbia right now, which is going to go right across the world, where they have put in new lockdown regulations, and they have rebelled. And they are rebelling big time in Serbia right now against lockdown. Because they know that they're being lied to. You can fool a few for a while. You can't fool a lot for a long time. Now, there's an undercurrent. People like you, people like me, and people like all these people listening right now or watching that know that what we're talking about is a truth. It doesn't need big debates or anything like that. It doesn't need, you know, Boris shuffling his hair up and standing in the comments saying, "Oh, we've done a wonderful job," and all sorts. He's crap. Everything that government's done is shit. And basically, you know, they should all be put in the Hague, and they should all be under war trial.
But didn't it feel good to speak the truth?
Well, it is the truth. Good? That's it.
Did it feel? I mean, when I, you know, in general, when I'm doing my readings or my spiritual work or my online work or my whatever, it feels so good to speak the truth, because that's what we're here for. We're here to speak the truth. We're here to talk of the light. We're here to put in the light and love in the world. And that's
we're expeditionary. We're expeditionary people. We knew. And many of us didn't want to come here, but we came back.
Trust me, no, I'm one of them. And I say that all the time. Why am I here?
Well, you're probably like Teresa and like myself. You're looking up in the sky, waiting for a ship to come down, take your own, because it's had enough.
Scotty. That's what I say.
Hey?
Beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah, beam me up, Scotty. Yeah.
You know, and it's dear. But I know it sounds daft, but the best remedy for me at the moment is laughter. You
Absolutely.
know. And I think, do you know what? Bollocks a lot of you, because I'm still living my life. I've got a life to live, and I'm going to bloody live it. You know, and it's great to know that all these higher beings and the knowledge we have, it gives me such strength and such inner knowledge. And power is knowledge. It keeps me going, and it keeps people around me going, and that's what I'm here for, and I love it.
Yeah, and you're doing that in your work as a reader and everything like that as well. You're doing it in your work as a carer and what you're doing in helping people. And you're doing that in everyday life because, you know, there's no airs and graces with you. Like most spiritual people, they are what they are. Do you know what I mean? There is a lot in spirituality that aren't, an ego and God knows what else.
Trust me, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, but
we'll leave that there.
Yeah, you are what you are. You know,
I am. And take me. That's it. If you don't like it, then tough. Because that's it. You know, I am who I am, and I'll never change. You know, I make people laugh.
You pulled out the stops in lockdown as well, because you started doing things like a lot of people did, but you thought, what can I do? And you went out doing readings on Facebook and all sorts of that, and doing whatever you can to do your best, like what we're all doing our bit in lots of different ways.
Do you know, it's funny to say that, because, I mean, obviously, I do a lot of hours. I work 12-hour shifts sometimes, you know, for crappy pay, and I come home and I'm absolutely drained with emotion, negativity. You know, people are passing away, they're poorly, they're unwell. So that affects me on many, many levels. But when I come home and do my live, it just recharges me so much. I love it.
It's a hamster getting off the wheel.
Yes. I love it, and I can feel them. I can feel the angels. I can feel the energy. I can feel spirit around me, and it just gives me such a lift. And I almost say that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help others, and that's what I do. And I do it to my best. And
absolutely, and that's all we can do.
Yes,
but you know, if there's enough of us, then something changes.
Yeah,
you know, and I do feel there is a lot of us.
I really feel sorry for those who don't have that inner knowing, or do you know, it almost feels like home, Clint. That's what it feels like, home.
Yeah.
When I connect, it feels like I'm home. It feels like I do. And when I meditate, I'm gone.
Well, the thing is, you're in it all the time.
Yeah.
You never switch it off. It's always there. Yeah. But
totally.
You know,
I've got no certificate though, like the others. We won't go down that road.
That's irrelevant, isn't it?
We won't go down that road.
No. The problem.
Oh, that makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Honestly.
The problem is, well, you know, I can rustle you one up, I'm sure.
Oh, that makes sense. But do you know, the sense of humour as well, you know, that's kept me going. Do you know what I mean? And I think laughter is the best medicine. It's free. Do you know what I mean? I mean, they'll be charging us for that in a minute. And I just laugh my way through it. And I think, do you know, I can see light at the end of the tunnel. I think there is many levels of people, you know, many levels of souls. They come here hollow or life or full or light, whatever way you want to look at it. And I think the people here, we just do our best, and we know when we go home that we've done a good job here, and that's all there is to it.
Yeah,
you know,
and not coming back again.
No, never. I don't want to sign no contract this time.
No, I know.
And I kind of feel sorry for the people that are just shrouded by fear, materialistic world, money driven, you know, and I think, yeah, but you'll get it back. You'll come back and you'll live another life, you know. And I think I've had so much karma be rid of in this life. I
know exactly what I mean, because look, your story will be very similar to mine, to many, many people in relation to the spiritual people they are, the spiritual people they are inside, because we have been tainted, bashed about, knocked, you know, gone through immense torture, pain, and suffering to be where we are, and we're here. We're here.
And we're here to tell the story. And you know what? It's made me stronger. I mean, I could be here all night telling. I mean, what I've been through, it's been horrific. I don't know. I question myself how I've got here today. I don't know how I am here today, but my strength has got me here today. My connections have got me here today. My sense of strength has got me here today. And my inner knowing, and that grows with me every day. And you know, the biggest thing I think having this is sharing it. That is the biggest gift.
Completely.
I share my knowledge.
But that's an unknown word in our world, isn't it? To share. To share. What are you talking about? I'm not sharing anything. Do you know what I mean?
I know. That's their loss, though, isn't it? And it gives me a great sense of satisfaction.
Well, when it comes to the big change, there are people that will not go to that next place. Do you know what I mean?
They won't. Oh, trust me, they'll be left behind. And I believe it's almost like a big ship will come over and take us and leave them all on the floor. And I think, bring it on.
Absolutely.
I'll be in the queue. But that's how I see it, and it feels great. And do you know what? I can hold my head up and stand tall and think, I worked for COVID. I worked every single sodden day in that beautiful sunshine for a shit wage.
Yeah.
And I held my head up and I kept going and going, and it's made me stronger and stronger. And you know, we will win the battle. I really
we will.
Believe that.
Well, I think we've nearly won, to be honest.
Yeah, totally.
I think we're nearly there.
Oh, totally. I mean, I will say this month has got a better feel. Last month was very, very low, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know, but July the 1st came and I thought it was great. It's so much changed. And I think a lot of people felt that. And I do feel a lot happier.
I think that's about reconnections. That's reconnections to people, reconnections to ourselves. And where we've gone through traumatic and turmoil times, we found anchor points to get those connections connected and aligned.
Yeah, good point.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, that makes
it's almost like opening a door and it's sun shining.
Yeah, and it literally is today.
And it is, yeah. And all those days when it's blistering hot outside and we couldn't go out, or if you could only walk down the road and come back, where you can only exercise for an hour and all sorts. And we're sitting indoors, but that was like gestation period. It's like a period of rebirthing and growth within.
Oh, totally. It's almost like a bird spreading their wings now, isn't it? And I feel that freedom. And you're right. It is. I think people were cooped up, going mad, literally. And you know, the simple ingredient from the sun is vitamin D. You think how much damage it does to people. The rickets, for instance, how poorly they were without the vitamin D. There's no mention, don't go out in the sun, you know, and all this. Bollocks for that. It's beautiful. Go out. Get your dose of vitamin D. Build your immune system up. We are light. We need light.
Yes, we do. We need light, and we need embracement of the sun. We're sun beings. You know, every single soul being, every soul being has walked through the arena of Egypt. We've all come from there. We've all been there. It would have been a transportation point, a docking place for us. It would have been a place of learning, growth, and understanding. Where I'm talking about Egypt being much bigger than what it is, probably the size of about 4 or 5 countries, and then sent out right across the world to spread the message, to give the love, to give balance and understanding. And these are not all tree hugging things; they're real. They're real things.
And we've lost that. I think we've lost that along the time. You know, I think a lot, it is lack of knowledge, it's a lack of understanding. You know, we live in such a materialistic, false, fabricated world. You know, we almost got to fight for the webs every day to get where we need to be.
Yeah.
And I think when we do, we feel that love. We see through the veil. We feel. I feel it. I feel it. And it's a great feeling to be a part of it. Actually, it really is.
I wake up every day feeling incredibly empowered.
Yeah.
And even through the darkest times, because you're there you know, you're key working, I was key working, and you were key working in different ways, but we're there doing our bit and working through the bile, the treacle, the awfulness to find some light, some significant light to hold on to within it, which we've all done. And I do feel that I do feel we're going to come out of this, but I do feel we're going to go back in it as well, because I do feel there will be a drop, if you like.
It's funny because as I'm sat here now and I've got so much coming in, and somebody just said to me, spirit, angels, whatever way you want to look at it, just said we're a ray of sunshine, and I thought, what a lovely thing to say.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel that, and I feel when I do go into work in the care homes or wherever I may be, I do bring that sunshine with me. I feel the light around me. I encase myself with it every day, and I love it, and I want to pull it into the world.
Yeah.
And it's just such a great feeling, you know, being a part of nature.
Yeah, one of the things that's really important as key here is that I do feel the big alignment and changing and turning point within ourselves as, and this is not ego, but as people that have lifted themselves up to be readers, seers, healers, whatever they may be, are actually amalgamating with all parts of themselves from all lives, which means they are rekindling, reconnecting to their own abilities within inside themselves, not just for a coping mechanism, but for a deep understanding in the abilities they have to help people. Where, you know, at times of great stress, then we come out with great healing. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know, that makes sense. Like you said, I mean, in the past, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to go into my marriage, divorce and whatnot, but that, it broke me. But, you know, it also made me who I am today.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's almost like this COVID hasn't really affected me so badly, because I've been through worse.
Yeah.
I've actually been through so much more in my life.
This is for me,
I've
it's nothing.
Glided through it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to be flippant in saying it, but for me, going through COVID is nothing.
No,
it's really nothing in comparison to what I've had to go through.
Exactly, I've been through a lot worse, you know, and it's been a breeze for me, really. And in a way, first of all, it was lovely because the air felt great, the air felt pure. You know, there was no traffic on the road, things were calm, time just kind of slowed down a bit. I felt the energy change in the world, the vibration change, the frequency change, everything changed. It was like a lull. It was lovely.
Yeah.
And then boom, we're all back to normal. The roads are crazy. People are out again.
Yeah.
You know, that is living. We've got to live. We've got to commute. We've got to do that. But like you said, there's so much greed and hatred involved. But we've just got to step out of that. It's something against the tide, and we will find it.
I do feel there's a lot more to come yet, which is about with the change we're going through, and I do feel that it's going to be very interesting times. You know, this I always say this time on Earth, said it a long time ago, is a dangerous and interesting time, because it is, and we are going to go through different realms of that. I'll tell you what, Melanie, you've been absolutely immense.
Thank you very much. You too.
And it's fantastic having you on. Do you want to just tell people how they can get hold of you and what you're doing and where you're going and all the rest of it?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, Melanie Kellaway, and I do an Ascension and Development page as well on Facebook. And again, I have lots of lovely people join me. Pamela Price, she's with me.
Lovely. Pamela's lovely.
I love Pam. I was with her last night, actually. We had a great night last night.
She comes on here regularly as well. Very lovely lady.
She's amazing. Lovely. And again, she's struggled, but she's a very strong lady.
Her paintings are immense.
I know.
Different level.
I know, and it's great that we're all connecting. It's just, you know, it's lovely.
I always called her. I met her years and years ago. I knew her years and years ago. The fact that she's Middle Earth. She is Hobbit country.
Yeah, she's lovely. She's so down to earth. She's really lovely to be around.
Yeah.
Love her energy. I love her as a person.
Yeah.
She's a great friend. So we just talk about development and we make people laugh. And I do lots of different things. I mean, there is a real gypsy side to me, so I do a lot of tea leaf reading online, which is really good fun. Crystal ball reading. I've got a real deep Romany connection, and I should be in a caravan really somewhere, but
I am in a caravan.
I know you are. I should be as well, I think.
I haven't got a crystal ball though, but
oh, I love working the crystal ball. It's fantastic. I've tried the water as well. I've done the water as well. That is amazing when you see visions in water. That is just incredible.
Water is immensely powerful and very emotional.
Love
and
it,
flower reading actually is very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, do you know, it's interesting. A lot of new things are coming my way. I think a lot of new guides have come in. I'm working on higher levels. I just love it. I just love all of it. I'm embracing all of it and just going with it. I'm going with the journey, and I love it.
Well, we always love you, Melanie. You've been absolutely amazing, an immense guest, because you say it as it is. And look, I do. What's wrong with that? There's nothing.
I do waffle on.
No, but it's good. You know, you speak the truth, and I like that. And that's why. That's why. And the great thing is that so many people like yourself join me on this show to make the show what it is, and that's what it is. All I do is facilitate it. That's all. So
exactly. You know. Well, thank you very much. Look after yourself. Be happy.
Yes.
And just enjoy.
Absolutely.
Enjoy the ride. Take care.
Thank you very much, Melanie. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. What a lovely lady she is. There, Melanie Kellaway. Been on the show a few times. Lovely person. Very connected. Been very busy in what's gone on and everything and that. You know, we're gonna now go to our last guest this evening. Unfortunately, we have we're gonna contact this person, I do believe. Hopefully he will answer the call. I have got his number here, I do believe. Let's give it a go, see what happens. I've been given this number. I don't know who it is, mind you. Or even if it'll ring.
The mobile number.
And it's not. Well, hopefully our next guest is listening out there right now. As Tree said earlier on, there's been massive confusion with communication through the retrograde of Mercury and everything. Here we go. Let's see who this is. Hello there. Who's this? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? And who's calling the Inview tonight?
My name is Stan.
Your name is what?
Stan.
Your name is Stan.
Stan, government man.
You're Stan, government man. So you are actually somebody that's officially works for the government, yeah?
Yes.
Wow.
Not a lot of work going on, but yes.
That's amazing. And what do you do in the government?
Back benches. I sit on the back benches.
All right, you sit on the. Oh, you sit on the back benches.
Yes, back benches.
Oh, so they're not the back benches you would see in Parliament. They are the back benches that you can't see in Parliament.
The back benches in Parliament's car park.
So these are been built in the car park in the House of Parliament.
No, these benches are in the car park at the Parliament House.
Are they? Wow.
Yes.
And how did you get a seat on the back benches of the House of Parliament in the car park of the of government?
Well, I had to ask a couple of youths to move so I could sit down.
Really? Wow. So do you have any say on what the government are doing or have been doing through this virulent virus that we've been in?
What virus?
Sorry?
What virus?
What virus? Well, the COVID virus, the coronavirus, or whatever you want to call it, or the phonal virus. Gemma actually asked you, do you get paid £300 a day to sleep in the House of Parliament like the other MPs?
No, because I'm the back benches.
That's right. So the people on the back benches that aren't actually in the House of Parliament, that's out in the car park, do you get paid at all?
Yes, well, no.
You don't get paid?
No, we get tokens, which would go to the bourbon wagon in the other end of the car park.
Wow. So you don't... what party are you affiliated with, Stan?
I'm affiliated with, well, obviously, if I'm government man, I'm affiliated with the government.
No, so you're a conservative.
Well, you could say that, yes.
So do you actually, even though you're on the back benches in the car park, do you actually have an influence on Mr. Boris Johnson?
Only when I hold the door for him.
Well, that's quite funny. So is that part of the job of a backbencher that's out in the car park on the benches? Is that part of the job of a backbencher to open doors for I mean, you know, have you ever thought about getting some scissors and having a go at his hair?
Don't say things like that. I don't want to get fired from my non-paying job, do I?
You don't want to get paid. You don't want to get fired from your non-paying job. Why is it? Are you elected like normal MPs, or is it like the longest straws or whatever?
I don't know. I'm something, but I'm not elected. I don't know, but I know there's something huge.
There is something huge. It must. How many of you are sitting outside in the back benches in the House of Parliament in the car park?
3.
There's 3 of you on the benches. How many benches are there?
Well, there's another 2 behind me.
Are they like you? Are they unpaid MPs?
Yes, the ones at the back behind me benches doesn't even get a lunch voucher from the burger wagon.
Really? So you sit in the front of 2 other back benchers, yeah?
Yes, in the car park. Yes.
Don't you find, is there a cover on it, or do you get wet when it rains?
Well, there is some kind of cover on it. Jacob, he's the one at the back behind me. He got a gazebo, you see, from his garden and brought it over. So,
all right. Does that cover you all, does it?
Really. But I say, there is something very, very big.
There is. It must be something very big because it's... are you back?
Yes.
No, you are back. So are you actually sitting on the benches right now?
I am, yes.
Isn't it? Don't you find it, with, the elements, don't you find it a bit cold? Do you sit there all the time, or do you have a house?
No, I don't sit in my house when I'm working, do I?
Well, no, of course not. You sit on the back benches. But isn't there the Official Secrets Act and all sorts of that?
Yeah, so I can't exactly tell you what kind of seat it is I'm sitting on.
All right. So what about people that pass by? Don't they come up to you and ask you what you're doing and why you're sitting out here?
No, because we're dressed like tramps, you see.
Oh right, I get it. So you're in disguise as MPs on the back benches. So the police don't come along and try and move you on or anything, do they?
No.
And how long? I mean, you're not really a tramp, though, are you? Because you have your own house.
There's a lot of spec. You see, I got a fire pit in front of me. You see,
a fire pit. Is that what you have in front of your benches?
No, you see, sometimes I advise Prime Minister Johnson on certain things.
All right. Does he listen to you then?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. He hears me, but whether he does something about it, I don't know.
Are you actually called to the Prime Minister's office?
Yes, on a couple of occasions.
Are you?
To open the door.
I don't suppose you can talk about that because it's official secrets and all that.
That's sort of, yes. You see, when I've got the fire pit, flames coming up, waving about, dancing, they talk to me.
Okay, so you're like a seer, I suppose, aren't you?
Now they told me I need a haircut. so I
yeah, but surely, you know, you look into the flames and you see the future, don't you?
I do, yes, I do. But some of the people behind me in the back benches don't see to it. They can't see it, you see.
Well, they're like fourth division MPs, aren't they? They're right back. They must be nearly into a shop somewhere.
Yes. Anyway, so yes, but there is something huge, very, very big.
Is there? What, the bench itself or the fire pit?
No, the Grand Canyon.
Oh, yes. Well, have you been there, have you?
Not recently, no. But I
Gemma, who's watching us right now, listening, says she's expecting Jeremy Beadle to appear in a bit. And she also says it's Tory Boy from Harry Enfield and Chums, isn't it? And she also asks, is he out or is he out? Is he out or is he out? And in your back benches. And she also says, is he one from Peaky Blinders?
No, I don't wear a cap or anything like that.
You don't wear a cap or you're not violent or anything like that, are you?
No, not that.
Make love, not war. That, you know. So are you a true blue Tory? Are you? Or are you a radical Tory?
What? Sorry, can you repeat that, please?
Are you a radical Tory or are you a through and through Tory blue?
No. We're the different faction, you see. We're totally different. We're the back benches. So, yes, I mean, there is going to be a revolt soon.
Is there? Well, you're going to be it's going to be revolting. Who's going to revolt? You're going to revolt.
Yes, and my two colleagues behind me, they're going to revolt as well.
Yeah, but do you think three's going to make a lot of impact on Parliament? In your back. Do they even regard what you say?
Well, what I say to Boris Johnson is I'm not going to open your door anymore. You have to find somebody else.
So
I'm not going to do it.
You know, don't you have to dress up to go in there in pantomime outfit or something, though?
No, nothing like that. We just go in our bathing suits.
In your bathing suits, you go. So you open the door for Boris in your speedos, or budgie smugglers.
Well, what's budgie's got to do with anything? You silly boy.
Gemma says it's Lord Lucan, and you're sitting on Shergar. You sound a bit like Lord Lucan.
I don't know. I thought he was lost.
Well, apparently he is. Yeah. Well, he's probably dead by now, but
maybe all this is staged for the return of.
It could well be. He could be the next PM, couldn't he?
Yeah, I think could. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've got 4 years in power, haven't you, Stan?
No, I don't. I've already done about 8-9 months of opening the door for Boris.
So that's the most important job you have, is opening the door for Boris.
Yeah, that's it.
Can his head fit through it sometimes? Because he has got quite a wild haircut, hasn't he?
Well, he can't open the door, you see, himself.
Do you know, it's very interesting. Something just occurred to me. That actually his father's called Stanley.
Yes, I do believe the father is called Stanley, yes.
Do you see Stanley, do you?
Only when I look in the mirror.
So you are Stanley?
No, I'm not Stanley's father, no.
Oh, right.
But,
well, I would, I would think you're not.
I'll let you know a little secret no one knows. So you'll have to keep it under your hat if you wear one.
I won't share it with anybody. And I know that there's nobody listening, so nobody's going to hear this. So what are you actually going to share with me?
Well, the reason why Prime Minister Johnson has to have somebody to open the door for him is because he can't open it himself, you see.
Really? Cannot open a door himself? Well, is that because he's got robotic arms?
They have door handles.
What, he doesn't get on with door handles?
No, he doesn't have hands as such, you see.
Oh, right. Now, why? How come we see him sometimes on TV and he seems to have hands?
That's just a disguise.
And that's a bit like that song, You Need Hands, wasn't it? Whoever sang that. I can't remember who sang that, but...
I may be breaking the official secrets out here, but one day I opened the door for him and then opened the van. The smoke's getting right in my face.
Well, smoke, you're by a fire pit, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, one day I opened the toilet door for him and let him go in. And I thought he'd finished, you see, so I went and opened the door, you know, and I got a glimpse in the mirror of what he really is. And he was putting his, you know, his so-called human suit back on. But
really? So did he have to take off his Boris Johnson look, his human skin, to go to the toilet?
Yeah, see, because when they're out in public and that sort of thing, they appear human. But it's not, it's actually a giant cockroach.
So Boris Johnson actually is not human, he's a cockroach.
Yes.
And that's, I suppose, why he ain't got hands.
That's right, yeah. And he hasn't, and you see his antennas all wound round. That's why he's got all that mop of hair, you see. Cause
hiding it.
It's hiding, yes.
Hiding as antenna. So, I'm surprised you weren't shot after seeing that.
No, he didn't see me, you see.
Ah.
I just caught a glimpse.
Is it like a zip suit, the human skin? Is it like a zip? You put a long zipper down and off comes his face and body?
No, it's a spray one. It's this little can out of his pocket. Well, whatever you call it, pouch or something on the side of the cockroach.
Really?
And he just sprays it over his body and...
becomes Boris?
Yes.
How many people are like that? Is he the only one?
Yeah, it's the only one I've seen.
Right. Hence why you have to open the door.
That's right. Now, there was heard of someone, he went missing. The guy who did it before me, you see, he disappeared. Now, I reckon he probably saw him, or he saw somebody else.
Yeah. It's interesting. Gemma says, yes, underneath Boris Johnson's rubber mask, it's Brad Pitt. And Gemma says that's a huge cockroach.
It is a big cockroach, yeah. But then again, he's got a lot of weight to carry. So, you know, the thing is, the thing about these cockroaches, from what I gathered from...
Are they mutated? Have they mutated from Chinese takeaways?
No. See, the thing is, this cockroach is, I'm convinced there's more than one, or there will be soon. He's not of this world, and he's a fair size, so he's picked like Boris Johnson type disguise, whatever, because he's actually pregnant.
What? Boris Johnson is pregnant?
Yeah, Boris Johnson. Well, the cockroach.
Oh, right. So Boris Johnson, the cockroach, is pregnant. So how many is he going to give birth to?
Normally, well, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, they have more than one, don't they? They have quite a few, I think.
Well, I would have thought so, but I don't know. I don't even know what planet he's from. Mind you, know to most people. But he's not from here anyway, I'll tell you that. And I don't know about the rest of the front benches either. I don't know. And I'll tell you that Rees-Mogg bloke. Oh, dear,
is he a cockroach, Rees-Mogg, or is he something else? Is he an ant or something?
He's just a bastard.
Yeah. Gemma says all those £23 breakfasts paid for by the taxpayer, but they call us scroungers. And she says, with a food baby.
food, baby.
So, have you come across Rees-Mogg? He's been quiet since he said what he said about Grenville Towers, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been taken over, you see. That's what he is. He's been taken over.
What's he been taken over by?
I don't know.
Is it his ego?
He just walks differently.
Does he?
He walks with a limp.
Well, maybe one of his legs is shrinking.
Well, maybe, or he's the cockroach he's got problem bending his other leg because he's got another 3 down his trouser leg, that stuff. I don't know.
Well, he shouldn't do a lot of bending down when he's around Boris as a cockroach, I shouldn't think.
I don't know.
Because they breed like rabbits, don't they, cockroaches?
No, they breed like cockroaches. Like rabbits. Silly boy. I tell you, you would do well in the House of Parliament. You would.
Yeah, I've always thought I should be in the House of Parliament. Have you ever come across a man called Captain Corbroy in the House of Parliament?
No. But I know there is an underbelly as such. There's something going on, so I wouldn't be at all surprised if someone like him or someone else.
So it's not an undercurrent; it's an underbelly.
Underbelly, yeah.
Is that under Boris's belly, or is it under some other belly?
Well, it wouldn't be under Boris's belly, not if he gives birth.
Did you serve any other prime ministers there, like Theresa May?
Who?
Theresa May, you know that.
That woman. Is that what she called herself? Let's see. No. She's totally different.
Yeah, she looks like she's totally different. It looks like, I'd much prefer to go and watch paint dry.
Well, you see, what it is the ones that was Theresa May, you can always tell the ones which are cockroaches.
Really? What do they do?
Yeah. Well, Boris Johnson is. Theresa May was. Gordon Brown was cockroaches because they have no charisma whatsoever. So blacks, when they speak, everyone just thinks, "Oh God, will you just shut that up?"
Well, you would think Boris Johnson's got a bit of charisma, hasn't he? Is that a tape recorder he uses when he opens his mouth?
No, it's not a tape recorder. He's got some kind of I don't know what it is. Little red light flashes.
All right. Well, he's used to red lights flashing. He's quite partial to a bit of red light flash.
Yeah, probably is. There's a little red light that flashes on the back of his collar of his shirt.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I presume it translates things. I don't know. So
okay. Well, that's a bit different. You're giving away a lot of secrets here, as you sit on the back benches.
Yeah, I know, but I'm going over the pond to join Donald Trump's revolution.
Are you? Is Donald Trump a cockroach?
No. He's human.
Is he?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
what about Joe Biden? Is he human? Is person that wants? I mean, can you believe? I find it very hard to believe that the party opposing Trump for the general election in November. And they put a skeleton up against him.
All I'm going to say is America is a strange place.
Oh, they're very, yes.
It's a strange place.
Yes. Gemma Jane Brooks would like to know if you knew Guy Fawkes. Did you know him?
No, I knew his brother, though, Guy Spoons.
Guy Spoons. Wasn't he in a band, a skiffle band?
Something like that, and he played the spoon, so we called him Guy Spoons.
Guy Spoons, and that was a brother of Guy Fawkes.
Yeah.
Wow, did he have another brother called Guy Knife?
No, Mac.
Oh, Mac the Knife.
Yeah, that's the one.
Mac the Knife. Guy Fawkes and Guy Spoons. Was Guy Spoons related to the guy that owns Weatherspoons, Tim Martin?
No, nothing to do with it.
Oh. So these cockroaches are they actually all over the world as well as this country?
Oh yeah, as far as I know, they've infiltrated. Yeah, because both the Clintons are cockroaches.
Are they?
Yeah, and Donald Trump's only human. You got the head of CIA. You know, when he come into power, head of CIA. Then so he was a cockroach. That's why he fired him. You see.
Right. I could nearly Comey. That was Comey, wasn't it? I don't know how I remember that, but it is. But you know, is Donald Trump a sort of savior, messiah?
Yeah, there's something big coming down, and it will do within the next 6 months.
Wow.
Something. Yeah.
And what was Epstein?
I'll give up. What was Epstein?
Wow.
I don't know. Well, I know it's very expensive.
Yeah. I mean, what about when you go in the royal family? Is Prince Andrew a cockroach?
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah. He's a cockroach.
Because some people, if you read David Icke's, I don't know what language I'm speaking there, David Icke's book, he reckons they're all reptilians and they peel off their skins, their human skins.
No, they're cockroaches. They're not reptilians. Reptilians are not. They're a nice race. They are.
Gemma Jane Brooks says he isn't a cockroach. I'm sure she's talking about Prince Andrew. He's a CO ... Probably means.
Well, yeah, or a cook.
Well, it could be a cook. Yeah, but I mean, would you want Prince Andrew cooking for you?
No, because I don't know what I'll be eating. He might cook something which might taste a bit like chicken, but not be chicken.
Well, that's very true. I mean, Prince Andrew's obviously going on a little holiday for a very long time in America soon, isn't he?
No, they must get bumped off.
And you know, it's terrible what's really gone on. It really is. And you know, it's quite absolutely groundbreaking that I'm speaking to Stan. You don't give your second name, do you?
Yeah,
Stan. I'm talking to Stan, who's not standing. He's sitting on the benches in the House of Parliament car park on the very back benches, isn't it?
You did too many benches there.
Oh, right.
The front of that lot.
Oh, okay. So you're in like the first or second back benches.
Yeah, I'm in the first back bench.
Wow, that's incredible. And then you've got two other people sitting out there. What's their names? Their names aren't Stan, are they?
One's Oliver, and the other one's Eric.
Oliver and Eric, and they sit behind you. And are they conservatives?
Well, yeah, I hope so. Unless they're spies. But you know, Oliver, he's all right. Oliver, we get on well together.
Well, that's good. Has he ever been in Parliament?
No, not been in Parliament. I showed him a video of it. He hadn't actually been in there yet.
Well, he's looked at it on the outside because he's in the back benches, isn't he?
Yeah, he has to be on the front back bench, the same as me, so he can then get his badge, then he could go in to the House of Parliament.
Right. And what do you have to do to get a badge?
I don't know. I didn't mind.
Gemma Jane Brooks says Prince Andrew wouldn't cook. He'd take you to Pizza Express in Woking and then tell lies about it.
Yeah, I did hear something about that. Yeah, but Woking, but then again, only weirdos go to Woking, so that's got.
Well, it's a bit of a strange place, Woking, isn't it? Not that I'm condoning the place. You know what I mean? I mean, there are other places worse than Woking, aren't there?
Yeah, I mean, whoever called it Woking, it was pathetic name that is.
Woking, yeah. How did it get its name, Woking? I suppose that came from the people that are on the front benches and the very back benches in Parliament centuries ago, didn't it? And they said, we named this place Woking. It was probably named after a Duke of Woking or something.
No,
or maybe somebody just woke up and thought, I know what I do. I'll call it Woking. I just woking. I just woking up. I just woking up.
Probably named after the bloke who opened the first Chinese takeaway.
Oh, Woking. Yeah.
Yeah, Woking, yeah.
Woking. Yeah, but what don't you think? I mean, you missed a real joke there. I actually cracked a real joke. That somebody woke up and thought they call it Woking. I thought it was quite funny.
Well, I'll tell you what, I can hear the old
the tumbleweeds
going down the street there.
I know. Do you need security where you are?
No, we don't need security because we're incognito. You see, we're incognito.
Well, yeah, but surely people can see you sitting outside underneath a gazebo, sitting on commons benches.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to remember this is London.
Oh yeah,
it's Parliament, and anything goes around here.
Oh, I suppose you're a bit undercover as well, dressed as tramps, aren't you?
Well, that's it. And we've got a fire pit burning.
So do they feed you properly, or do you have to beg for it?
No. As I said earlier, Eric at the back, we help him out because he don't get no luxury vouchers, you see.
Right.
So we got a burger van at the other end of the car park. You see,
okay.
We get luxury vouchers and that for that. So. Yeah, so we're not exactly small people.
No, I understand that. Yeah. Is that what you eat most of the time? Is burgers?
Big breakfast roll in the morning and double cheeseburger and that for lunch. In fact, we're the only customers there. Actually, I've always rather.
And do you eat there all day long?
Yeah. We don't move from the bench.
Oh, well, you wouldn't because you might be needed, mightn't you?
No, we need to go to the toilet, but that's why we got a bucket underneath the bench. Because if Boris Johnson wants his door opening, right, and I'm on the toilet somewhere, the other end of the car park, that ain't gonna look too good, is it?
Well, it isn't. No. Do you sanitize yourself?
Yeah, we got a spray.
Oh, that's good. What is that, like Lynx or something?
No, it's from the pound shop next door.
Oh, wow. That's all right. Your expenses must be really good.
Yeah, well, I put in an extra $5 a week on my expenses.
Wow.
So I don't tell anyone, will you?
No. I'll keep that secret. Nobody ever would have heard that. No. And, so when the tourists come back to London, the Chinese and all the other countries, they would be able to see you sitting on your bench in the...
Only during the hours of business.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Otherwise I'll be at home.
So don't you have to dress up really spick and span to go in the House of Parliament to open doors for Boris Johnson?
No. Nothing like that. Because I get out of my tent first thing in the morning. You're woking in your tent in the morning. Yeah, I wake in my tent in the morning because we three of us, we got tents, you see, in the car park.
Oh, that's good. Well, is that paid for by Parliament? Is it?
Yeah, that's expenses.
Oh, right. Well, that's good. At least you don't have to go far to work, do you?
No. You see, I got a plush tent. I got a 4-man tent.
All right.
Myself. Yeah, all of us only got a 2-man tent.
Yeah.
Eric's got just a 1-man tent.
Okay. So you're king of the tents, basically, aren't you?
I am.
But remember, when you're in your tent, you can't get 2 tents, can you?
No, I can't get 2 tents because I won't be able to do my job if I've got 2 tents.
Well, I suppose it's quite an important job, really, considering that Boris Johnson's got no hands. Look, has he got fake hands, has he?
Well, he's got like pincers. he can't turn the doorknob, you see.
Well, he's had a problem turning his knob, hasn't he?
Yeah, he probably has. Unlike Prince Andrew, he ain't had a problem, has he?
Well, no, he doesn't. He seems to be very, very easy at opening handles. Yes, and knobs. Gemma says Lawrence of Arabia. I don't know what she means by that. Do you?
Well, I've got a clue.
Well, maybe, you know, maybe Boris Johnson is a version of a Lawrence of Arabia.
Hang on a minute,
Oh, dear.
He wants me to tell him I'm on the phone.
He wants you.
Bloody for about half an hour.
So
I do.
you've actually just been speaking to Boris on the phone while you're live to us.
There's a message to come out. He wanted me to go with him and open the door for Boris, but I told him no, I was on the phone.
All right. Can you do that? Can he not put you in the Tower of London?
I just did it. So,
oh, God.
You see, I can always use blackmail, you see.
Well, I suppose you can. I expect you've got a bit on Boris, haven't you?
I got a little bit.
Well, he's a cockroach for a start.
Who would believe me? I don't know.
Oh, I don't. Well, you'd have to get pictures, wouldn't you? And then you make a lot of money, and then you could go. You know, you'd do lots of things, couldn't you?
I don't want to be bopped off, you see.
Well, that's true. It's not good to be bumped off. I now get what Gemma's talking about. She's talking about Lawrence of Arabia because you're all the tents in the car park, so it's Lawrence of Arabia like style, isn't it?
Yeah. And yeah, but don't have burger wagons out in the desert, do they?
Well, I don't know. I mean, they probably do camel burgers.
Well, yeah, and meerkat burgers.
Meerkat burgers. They'd be quite small, though, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
and
we leave them alone because we like meerkats.
Well, yeah, and you know they would do something to your insurance on your camel, wouldn't they?
Well, I'll tell you what, though, you might have hit something there without even realising.
Well, that's another thing is meerkat road rage. You know what I mean?
Oh, meerkats. I wonder what they would do to cockroaches.
Well, that's true. They probably like cockroaches.
We didn't have this conversation, did we? We didn't have this.
Well, he didn't have this conversation. No. What does he eat? What does Boris eat as a cockroach?
Whatever cockroaches eat, I don't know. I've never seen him eat, and he dines on his own.
Does he?
Yeah.
Maybe he eats himself. No.
No, I don't know.
That's a bit silly, isn't it? That's the silliest thing I've said, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a little bit silly.
Yeah, it was a bit silly. Nothing like the very serious stuff we're talking about is Boris wearing a human skin and underneath he's actually a cockroach. He must have huge tentacles.
I beg your pardon.
He must have huge tentacles.
Oh, tentacles.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I did say tentacles. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that's why his head's so big. He's got that much hair because he had to wrap around it.
Is his father Stanley? Is he a cockroach?
That's a very, very, very good question. I don't know.
Have you met him?
Well, it may be a cockroach because, as you know, cockroaches don't like water. So
that's right. They don't like anything clean, do they?
That's why he flew over to Greece. I didn't go by boat, because let's face it, if you wanted to go, you could just disguise yourself, get on a boat and go over there and no one would be the wiser.
Yeah, but it's water, it's cleaning stuff, isn't it? They don't like being clean.
No, they don't like water, especially salt water.
Yeah.
Because that you could kill a cockroach.
Can it? I didn't know that. I didn't know salt water kills cockroaches.
Yeah.
So does that mean that Boris don't ever bath?
I've never seen him have a bath.
Well, I don't expect he's asked you to. Wait, have you had to open the door to the bathroom so you can get in a bath?
Well, this is it. How did you turn the tap on?
Well, that's true. I mean, I would think he'd have a dust bath, wouldn't he?
So what we can have to do, if you want to get some of your friends together, we can meet up at the Parliament car park, right behind the back benches, and right, we meet up one day and we just load our water pistols up with salt water,
And that'd be it.
We break into the Houses of Parliament and squirt them. And that would prove it, wouldn't it? Because the cameras would be on there, the nation would be watching.
Yeah, but won't his skin act as a barrier so it won't go into him?
No, because there was another thing I did see when he was in the toilet. When I saw
did you?
He nicked himself accidentally. Right, he was trying to comb, and he nicked his forehead there. Right, and this sort of weird, sort of gooey stuff come out, green gooey sort of stuff.
Really? It's like pus or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, that's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah, so I would have thought there's no kind of protective barrier around him as such, that sort of thing. Because let's face it, it would take a lot of energy to keep that working, wouldn't it, all the time?
Yeah, I suppose it would, wouldn't it? Does he creep out at night? Does he creep out at night and go to the worst restaurants in town to meet his mates?
Yeah, probably he meets them in the kitchens, I expect. Under the floorboards.
Gemma says that isn't true because Boris doesn't brush his hair, and if he does, he brushes it with a flip-flop. Have you ever tried to brush your hair with a flip-flop?
Not recently, no.
No. Well, if I remember rightly, I have seen a picture of you, Stan. I do believe you've got quite a bit of hair, actually, Stan, haven't you?
Yeah, Ollie has as well. He's got a bit of.
Has he? Was he a gorilla once, Ollie?
No. We get a good laugh wherever we go.
I bet you do, yes.
When we go to the pub, they ask, who are you two? We go, Stan and Ollie. They say,
yes, Stan and Ollie, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I forgot about that. Yeah, well done. That's brilliant.
So we get together and we make sure our water pistols are loaded. We can't have the big ones, a lot of these kids have these days.
Oh, they're dangerous, aren't they?
Just have the little ones, where you can conceal them on our bodies. And we walk into the Houses of Parliament, I'll open the toilet door for Boris. As he's walking in, I'll squirt him, and you can squirt that Reese Mogg as well. So that'll take two out.
Reese Mogg. That sounds a really good idea. And you won't get caught, will you?
No, we get caught on camera because it's all on camera and people will see for what they are.
Well, yeah, that's true, yeah. Is there cameras in the toilets in Parliament, is there?
There might be secret ones.
It sounds a bit like Big Brother, doesn't it?
Yeah, it might be hidden microphones and that in there, because I expect they might do some of their business,
Well, I bet they do a lot of business in there, to be honest.
Yeah, and that business as well.
Yeah. Well, I suppose it's like playing golf, isn't it? They go and do business deals playing golf. I expect they sit in a toilet on toilets together doing business, don't they?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, something was strange when
I think it's a load of crap.
when Reese Mogg went out with asking his bloody flame. Oh,
yeah, don't try and swallow the flames.
When Reese Mogg and Boris, they went and had a meeting the other day, but they did it in a strange little place.
Did they? Where did they do it?
They did it in a part of the building which is just being sort of renovated. So they had about four or five bits of wood over the top of them.
All right.
I suppose because they're not just hiding, but that's where you find cockroaches, in it, underneath.
Well, I suppose you do underneath. Yeah, I don't know. I've never really gone on a cockroach hunt.
No, we'll be going on a cockroach hunt. Don't worry about that. So you mark my words. I'm not going to tell you when.
Well, no, don't. And then you make sure you don't tell me, and then I'll turn up.
No, that's it. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, it's all hush hush.
Yeah, that's the best way.
Because you're going back to Guy Fawkes here in relation to blowing the House of Parliament up. You're looking at taking out the Prime Minister, who actually is a cockroach with water pistols.
Yeah, salt water. Yeah,
salt water. Yeah.
You wouldn't believe it, would you, unless you heard it.
Well, I never dreamed that cockroaches. I thought they might like salt water, but obviously they don't like any water because they're dirty, aren't they?
Well, yeah, and you see what happens because their skins are so thin at certain parts of the body.
It's like acid.
Yeah, and they get sprayed with salt water. You know what it's like if you get a cut.
Yeah.
And you put salt in it, it stings like buggery.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Just think what it does to a cockroach if you squirt it with.
Oh well, I suppose it'd be the end of it, wouldn't it?
That'd be like the tail of the Triffids, wouldn't it?
Well, it would. Oh, that'd come in handy if oversized plants ever take over this planet.
Yeah.
Well, some would say some people that look like overgrown plants have taken over the planet already because they've got nothing in their brains.
Well, they haven't got anything in their brains, have they?
No.
They haven't, because it's all downloaded. You see, from the somewhere I don't quite know yet. I got a buddy of mine, Professor Yaffle. He's trying to find out exactly where these signals come from.
Really?
Yeah.
My God. And
because
who is it, Professor Yaffle?
Professor Yaffle.
How did he get a name like that?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'd never asked him how come he got his name like that. Maybe his parents gave it to him.
Well, I suppose he did. Is it Yuri Yaffle? Is it Yuri Yaffle?
No, not Yuri Yaffle. Oh. He's not Russian. At least I don't think it is. But we know Reese Mogg and Boris Johnson, so-called Prime Minister, they download things because, like I said to you before, I haven't seen Reese Moggs, but I've been told that he has a little red light that flashes on the back of his collar.
Yeah.
The same as Boris does, you see, so they're downloading.
Well, they must be the same breed then, aren't they?
Well, they're just downloading from somewhere where some other shit will wear it from the moon.
Oh, right, yes. Yeah, I get it now, I'm with you, yeah.
They told what to say, you see, and when and all that sort of thing.
I think it's absolutely fascinating what you're talking about. And do you know what? It's as real.
As we are saying.
Wow, that is just groundbreaking. You heard it first here on the interview that Boris Johnson is actually a cockroach. What about that? And he's pregnant.
Whenever you see him interviewed or see him on the news and that, just tell yourself he's a cockroach and he's got the Boris Johnson suit on.
Yes, the Boris Johnson suit. And do you know what? In about 10 years' time, people would be selling Boris Johnson suits, won't they?
Will they?
Well, I don't know. Maybe.
Well, I don't know. I can think the better suits to
well,
sell.
that's true. Yeah, I think that's brilliant what Gemma says. That isn't true because Boris Johnson doesn't brush his hair, and he does. If he does, he brushes it with a flip flop. He probably bashes his head with it. He's probably trying to put himself in order inside if he don't fit his suit properly, isn't he?
Well, that's it. I don't know what they get up to in the evenings.
Well, I would like to say, I mean, cockroaches breed like rabbits, don't they?
Yeah, if you say so.
Well, I don't know, but I'm just guessing. They're at it all the time.
I thought they bred like cockroaches.
But they probably do. But what they probably did is they probably see some films of how rabbits actually copulate and all sorts and that loads of times, and then cockroaches probably took over and actually thought, yes, we can do that as well.
So what you're saying is that cockroaches came down to this earth and saw what rabbits were doing and how quickly they sort of copulated and thought that they'd do that themselves.
Yeah, well, cockroaches, and they had, there's another tribe they come from, which is Cockaliki, wasn't it? And Gemma James Brooks says they will sell the Boris Johnson suits for Halloween. That's a great idea.
That is an absolutely spiffing idea.
Yeah. I like it.
It's not a bad idea at all.
The Boris Johnson Halloween suit.
The problem is with Halloween, though, is you might get 1 or 2 people going out in cockroach suits.
Well, that's true. But actually, they're human underneath.
Yeah, but that could be a double bluff.
Well, it could be, because they could actually be cockroaches going out as cockroaches.
Exactly that,
yeah. I think you've opened up a whole can of worms here.
No, the whole can of cockroaches.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine it? All these cockroaches come down, watched rabbit porn, and then thought, well, we need to go and do that. And then what they did is they bred and multiplied and then took over human bodies.
Well, that's right. So, it must be laughable out in space or something.
Well, it must be because,
At other planets, saying all you got to do to be Prime Minister of England is go down and watch rabbits screw each other.
Oh, God. I'll tell you what. I hope you come back on. You're quite a fascinating character, Stan, who's on the back, but not the very back benches in the House of Parliament car park. It must be dark there. You must have a lantern or something, have you?
No, it's just a street light to come on around about 9:30.
All right.
That's all right, yeah.
Well, you've been fascinating, Stan. And hopefully, we'll talk to you again soon. I think it's an absolutely fascinating world you've opened up here that actually is completely under the wire and completely penned in, which means that, nobody knows anything about it. But they do now because you come on here.
Yeah. Be careful who you tell, though, because you never know.
I'll keep it under my hat.
There might be some cockroach spies out there.
Yeah, Gemma says that Boris is probably waiting for Roxanne to put on a red light. It's brilliant.
That is brilliant. That is good.
That is really good. She is firing all cylinders tonight, I tell you.
It's like putting lipstick on your collar, is it?
Yeah, lipstick on your collar. That's right. Yeah. Well, I suppose, if you put lipstick on your collar, you might actually attract the wrong type of people, mightn't you?
Might attract
rabbits. And what about if the rabbits actually populated and crossbred with the cockroaches? You'd have a cockroach. You'd have a cockpit. You'd have a cockpit, wouldn't you?
A cockpit.
A cockpit.
What's that? Cockpit, no.
Well, it doesn't sound mad, does it? You cockroach and a rabbit. You'd have to call them. So it'd be the last bit of rabbit and the first bit of cockroach. It'd be a cockpit.
Or a rabcock.
Or a rabid cock. Rabcock, yeah. He might even wear a string vest. Well, you've been fascinating, Stan. It's lovely to talk to you. I'm going to let you go back to what you're doing because you're obviously getting in your tent soon. And it's fantastic for you to call the Inview. I think you've been a breath from fresh air, and we will speak to you very soon.
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
What's that? Boris is a bit upset with me because he had to piss on the floor because he couldn't open the door.
Oh, you're in trouble now, aren't you? You weren't there to open the door.
Well, it was my tea break. It was my break.
It was your tea break, and poor old Boris couldn't get the toilet, and he weed his suit.
Yeah, must be like a little bulge at the bottom or something, and just started dripping.
Gemma says that you could call him a rab roach. I quite like that. Rab roach. Yeah, it's a rab roach.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. I think that's an immense name, to be honest. Better than a cockpit, isn't it? That sounds a bit sexual, doesn't it, cockpit, really?
Yeah, so there's rabbits bunking each other and all.
Well, yeah, but only if you're a rabbit, because you wouldn't find it interesting otherwise, would you?
Well, you never know. I mean, there could be like...
What, people with fetishes are watching rabbits have sex?
You could have a Jeffrey Epstein of the rabbit world.
Well, you could have a Jeffrey Epstein of the rabbit world, yes. Which I suppose would be an epi bit. It's not called rabbit. He's an ep bit. He's an ep bit. Epi bit.
Lost it.
They all say, here comes Epi bit.
Yeah, Epi bit. Yeah. But what are you? I'm an Epi bit.
Yeah. Gemma says when Boris wet himself, when Boris wet himself, it was cock-a-leaky. And Gemma says it should be Jeffrey Petstein.
Yeah, should be good.
I don't know. It's much too highbrow for me. I'll tell you, it's just immense. I think it's immense. Look, Blu-ray Soul's joined us. Hello, Blu-ray Soul. I hope you're very well. We are actually just finishing very shortly. We've had as a guest.
You could have a doctor of the rabbit. Well, it could be Dr. Rabbitstein.
Dr. Rabbitstein, yeah. Is that like Frankenstein?
Yeah, it could well be.
Well, I think there is a lot of strange things going on in the world of crossbreeding rabbits with cockroaches, to be honest. They would sort of hop and bounce around, jump, wouldn't they?
Funny, wouldn't it?
Well, it would look funny, yeah. It wouldn't look right, would it?
It's flying like Dumbo.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll give you the time and the date when we come off here.
Yeah, you do that. Yeah, and we get our water pistols together.
Yeah, when we score them cockroaches and call them.
Absolutely. Well, you'd be doing them a favour, really, but you might find that you won't be any MPs left.
Yeah, there may not be. So if that happens, then us on the back benches will be on the front benches.
Well, yes, but could they not be on the front benches rather than just the front benches?
Yeah, possibly. Stand, government man, prime minister.
Well, it's been lovely talking to you. We will speak to you again soon. I'm sure we're going to speak to you again soon. Can't even speak properly soon.
Some bloody rabbits.
I know. Thinking about cockroaches and rabbits. So, yes, thank you very much. And we will speak to you soon, Mr. Stan.
Yes. Yes, I'll speak to you again.
Yes, it's been lovely speaking to you. And thanks for bringing us into the very unusual world of Boris Johnson. I think it's fascinating. And I know that people will be writing about this in press tomorrow.
Well, in Preston, yeah, not impressed.
All right. Well, have a good rest of the evening, young man. And enjoy it on the back, but you're not quite at the back benches.
Yeah,
all right.
Right.
We'll speak soon.
Yeah, speak soon.
All right. Bye. Bye. There it is. That you never know who you're going to get. You really don't. Every week, you never know who you're going to get on the Inview. And there was Stan. He's on the back, but not quite back benches, out in the car park in the House of Parliament, who opens the door for Boris Johnson, who actually is not real because he's actually a cockroach and he puts on a human skin. Now he has to go and open doors for Boris because he ain't got any hands apparently. So there we are. We're brought into the world of Stan and what's going on with Boris. Absolutely immense, incredible. What a great show. We were down a guest tonight, but it doesn't matter because we got through it. Everything. We will get Tanya Weimer on again. Just let you know who's on next week. We have got Simon Heathcote, who is going to say the word properly. He's a psychiatrist, and he's been on the show before. He's a brilliant guest. Susan Hallwell will be on the show, and Crystal Desprez. The week after that, 26th of July, we've got Matthew John, Faye Val, and Patricia DeAngelis. And then Sunday the 9th of August, we got Tonya Francis, Sylvia Now, and a new guest, Warren Kaler. Really looking forward to speaking to him, a real expert in the field of UFOs and the understanding of the existence of humanity. So I hope you enjoyed tonight. It's our first one back. I'm very sorry, Blu-ray Soul. You've just joined us. It's fantastic to have you join us. You can catch the show on YouTube itself and run through the show. It's been a really interesting show tonight. I thank you all very much for listening. We are actually changing next week because we are going to go back to Facebook Live. We're going to come off of YouTube and go back to Facebook Live and see if they've tied their act up. And we will be bringing this show live on Facebook Live next week at 7 p.m. And watch out for postings and everything on Facebook about that. It's been brilliant. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you very much. All have a safe week out there. Stay fresh, stay safe, and I will see you all next week. And just be yourselves. That's what we need to be in this reality. Nothing else. Good night to you all.